Naruto cultivating in the hidden sand village with Pokémon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Daily Life, Departure. March 29th, the 7th year of Tsunagakure Luo Sha's family built a new house. In order to accommodate the elves, the new house covers a total area of 1,000 square meters, including a 200 square meter duplex villa and an 800 square meter garden. The elves' nests are all built in the garden, and the gardener is a flower lady. Lady Flower Clean is very rare in the Kingdom of Wind. There are only 8 of them living in a small oasis in the wind-dried habitat, all of which were captured by Luo Sha. One stayed at home as a gardener, and the other 7 built the Lady Flower Clean hotel chain, which is famous for its flowers and plants. The whole hotel exudes the fragrance of flowers and plants, and all the tourists who come here like it. The garden in the mansion was given to Mrs. Huaji, and cleaning was given to the suction cup puppet. Luo Sha and the elves lived happily in the big mansion Sand Village, the 3rd generation's mansion. Pikachu, you can't eat that. Luo Sha took the puppet toy from Siddiq's hand. It was a toy prepared for Scorpion. Quack. Siddiq tilted its head with a puzzled expression. Gee. At this time, Jenger's shadow emerged and made a face at Siddiq. Quack. Frightened for the 2nd time, Siddiq ran behind Luo Sha crying and hugged Luo Sha's thighs tightly. Jengard, please stop scaring Duck. Luo Sha picked up Siddiq helplessly and comforted it. Since Kira evolved, he changed from a problem child to a calm young man, and the family has been peaceful for a while. But Ghastly arrived in the house. Ghastly has loved playing pranks since he was a child, but there are older brothers and sisters at home, so if Ghastly provokes them, he will be beaten with a stick. Ghastly doesn't dare to mess with a big one, so he messes with a small one. Siddiq becomes the ultimate victim. The key is that Siddiq is not strong enough. He gets scared every day and is not immune to Ghastly's grimace. Ghastly has now evolved into Jenger, but his personality hasn't changed at all, and he still plays pranks all day long. Jenger is also the nightmare of Maki and Ishimaru. The 2 little kids have been pranked by Jenger since they were young and were scared to tears. Only Scorpion was not afraid at all. When Jenger made a face at Scorpion, Scorpion pinched him out of curiosity. I can't deal with Jenger anymore. Jenger, director, someone is not acting according to the script. Fortunately, Jenger doesn't like to destroy houses like Kira, and the victims have changed from furniture to people and ducks. Luo Sha knew that was the nature of the elves, and he did not try to change the personalities of Kira and Jenger. After Kira evolved, he became a good boy. As for Jenger, Ghastly people just love to play pranks and have no intention of harming anyone, so there's no need to worry. Psyduck. Quack. Quack, quack, quack. Luo Sha is very pleased with Shakira's changes. My son has grown up and matured. Luo Sha was also very pleased that Jenger was still as naughty as ever. My son has not changed since he was a child, and he is still the same boy as before. The 9-year-old father Luo Sha already has 10 children, although one of them is relatively mentally retarded. Psyduck. Quack. Luo Sha waited for Shagu to finish his work and came back, ready to discuss with Shagu about going to the Iron Kingdom. Luo Sha knew that World War II was coming, so he had to prepare for the village in advance. Luo Sha was holding Siddiq to comfort her when Gardevoir came out of the kitchen with a tray. Thank you, Gardevoir. Luo Sha took the coffee made by Gardevoir and took a sip. Gardevoir picked up Siddiq and put the milk into its mouth. Quack. Pikachu drank the milk obediently, with a suspicious blush flashing across his face. Mr. Luo Sha, you seem uneasy. Is there something bothering you? Gardevoir's telepathic voice sounded in Luo Sha's heart. Alice, the war sentiment in the village has been out of control recently. Most ninjas are eager for the coming of war. Even Master supports starting a war. Luo Sha sighed. Even without the appearance of the elves, the stubborn Sand Village would have launched a war against Konoha in the past 2 years. Maybe Fish Liang gave them the courage. Now that the ninjas of Sand Village have spirits, their courage has reached a new level. All the high-ranking members of Sand Village, even Xiao, who slacks off every day, support the war. Xiao, the Sand Village really needs to make progress. The Sand Village, located in the desert, is the ninja village with the worst geographical environment among the 5 major ninja villages. With scarce resources and harsh environment today, The sand village has built a green belt outside the village, and there are also farmland and vegetation inside the village. The sand village has become rich and powerful, and it is not impossible for it to surpass Konoha in the future, but the sand village still covets Konoha's land and resources. This is the influence of decades of adherent thinking. Everyone believes that Konoha owns the richest land. Luo Sha is not yet a Kazekage, and cannot suppress the surging war sentiment in the village, not to mention that the higher-ups are still pushing for the arrival of war. Luo Sha could only make plans early and try his best to help the Sand Village win the war. Luo Sha is preparing to go on a mission. He first goes to the Iron Kingdom to establish a Pokémon habitat in the Iron Kingdom and obtain forged Pokémon. The Kingdom of Wind has sufficient iron ore and blacksmiths to forge weapons, but they can only maintain daily use. Once a war is launched, the demand for weapons will soar. With forged Pokémon, the Sand Village can produce and use its own weapons, and will not be short of weapons in times of war. March 29th, the 7th year of Tsunagakure. After handling over the affairs of the village, Luo Sha took Yukang, Karula and Xiao Ai and set off for the Iron Kingdom. Now they are on their way to the Iron Kingdom on camels. The Iron Country is a neutral country, and all the major ninja villages have maintained long-term cooperation with the Iron Country and purchased weapons produced by the Iron Country. There are no ninjas in the Iron Country, but it is guarded by a group of fighting groups called samurai. The Iron Country is located in the northern part of the ninja realm, bordering the Fire Country, the Water Trap Country, and the Field Country. Luo Sha and others need to pass through the Rain Country, the Bird Country, and the Water Trap Country to reach the Iron Country. As the four were traveling through the Rhine Forest of the Bird Kingdom, they met an uninvited guest. I planted this tree and built this road. If you want to pass through, you must leave your lives behind. A man with a body wrapped in gray cloth, long gray hair and wearing a black mask jumped out. Ha 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 ha, I'm so lucky to meet four valuable brats here. Let me do the math. 3,000 million taels, 1,500 million taels, 1,000 million taels, and 800 million taels. A total of 6,300 million taels. I'm rich. I'm rich today, Kakuzu. Hey, that 3,000 million taels brat, you either surrender or I'll kill you. Kakuzu took the lead in attacking the most expensive Luo Sha, speaking in a leisurely tone. Who are you to dare to dance in front of me? Hearing Kakuzu's disdainful tone, the irritable Yukang immediately refused to do it. He ignited fire in his hands and launched a long-range attack ninjutsu, Scorch. Release. Blazing Light Wave, 800 million. Do you know how to respect your seniors? Forget it, let's deal with you, the cheapest girl first. A powerful chakra emanated from Kakuzu's body, activating his unique skill, Earth Grudge. I saw many black tentacles appearing around his body, which interrupted Yukang's light waves and attacked Yukang in the blink of an eye. The tentacles arrived in front of Yukang. Seeing that his ninjutsu was easily broken, Yukang immediately realized that the two were not on the same level, and used the instant body movement technique to avoid Kakuzu's attack. Chapter 27. Kakuzu. The battle is about to break out. Luo Sha and the other two immediately released their Pokémons, and 18 Pokémons appeared and surrounded Kakuzu. Yukang dodged the attack and released the elf. Hey, is this a psychic beast? Isn't this too much? Kakuzu, who has been hanging around in the underground bounty agency for many years, only has eyes for the bounties of wanted criminals and has no idea of the huge changes in the Sand Village. The Sand Village ninjas you usually encounter only have one summoning beast, or at most 3. The 4 little ghosts in front release 24 spirit beasts. HMPH, it's just that there are too many summoned beasts. I can just sell them all for money. As Kakuzu spoke, countless dense black lines suddenly gushed out from the ground and rushed in all directions. The 24 elves used their magical powers to interrupt the black line, but the interrupted black line began to recover quickly, so the city dragon stood at the front and used wide area defense. At this moment, Kakuzu suddenly realized that the surrounding environment was changing. The flowers and plants within 100 meters gradually withered, revealing the sand under his feet. The rainforest turned into sand. It's the sand raising by Pangiant monster in Hippomon. A sandstorm formed, and Yukang's 6 elves ran out of the center of the sandstorm and long-range attacks. The Pokémon began of Rasa, Karula, and Xiao Ai all gained all-round ability upgrades in the sandstorm. All this was done in the blink of an eye, and Kakuzu was still attacking the wide area defense barrier and had no time to react at all. Kakuzu, what? I just used one move, what happened? Rock? Blockade. Luo Sha's order sounded, and Shakira, Pangyangui, Hu and main rock werewolf cooperated tacitly and immediately blocked the surroundings with rocks as the rock blockade formed. We arrived at Luo Sha's home turf. Kokuzu looked at the 24 elves and the 3 people with eyes as if they were seeing prey, and felt like a little white rabbit that had strayed into a wolf pack. Damn it, do you think I'm afraid of you? Kokuzu said harshly, raising his hand to cast the Earth's Wrath, and 5 monsters composed of black lines immediately emerged from his body. Each black monster wore a different mask and could cast ninjutsu of different attributes. Yukira and Metagross immediately found a monster. Metagross fought the monster head-on, a real fist-to-flesh fight, and was beaten back step by step. Hu's wave of defensive division increased the double defense of Metagross, and another wave of power division reduced the monster's attack, so that Metagross and the monster could be evenly matched. After Hu performed his skills, he hid in the corner and watched the show. Yukira uses the sand hiding feature to appear and disappear in the sandstorm. The farmer used the 4 fangs of lightning, ice, fire and tooth for tooth in succession. Yukira bit the monster into pieces, but immediately black lines began to sew up the monster's broken body. Seeing that the monster was so difficult to deal with, Yukira let Metagross take on the challenge first. Yukira gathered her energy from a distance, then used a sharp stone attack to smash the monster's head. The monster falls down with a loud bang, and Kokuzu's heart rate drops to -1. The MVP of this game is Yukira, the one who takes the highest damage is Metagross, and the support is Hu. In the second battle, Gararu's 6 elves cooperated with Rosa's werewolf to fight against monsters. The city dragon is at the front and takes the most damage. 2 Garcoms, Dragonfly, Swampert, and Hippomon attacked continuously, while Alakazam shot arrows from behind. The elves cooperated well with each other, but because of the large difference in levels, it was difficult to fight in the end. The werewolf with only a sliver of health left in it managed to beat the monster to almost a sliver of health by acting brute force and making a big fuss. While the monster had no time to recover, the wolf mane chopped off the monster's head with its sharp claws. The monster falls down with a loud bang, and Kokuzu's heart rate drops to -2. The main force in the third battle is Zongaya and his elves. Under the influence of Boscadora, Xiao Ai's elves all developed reckless personalities, rushing forward without caring about anything. With Boscadora as the leader, Steelix, Magneton, Armored Bird, Slash Commander and Nutdumble take turns to fight monster. I can't beat you. I can't beat you at all. Finally, Xiao Ai found the opportunity and used the magnetic release, Red Iron Rasengan, to smash the monster's head. The monster falls down with a loud bang, and Kokuzu's heart rate drops to -3. The fourth monster is composed of Luo Sha's giant rock monster, Dragon Headmole, and Yikang's 6 elves. Yikang, who is regarded as the cheapest, was full of fighting desire and melted the monster with a scorch release. Over steam kill, the monster falls down with a loud bang, and Kokuzu's heart rate drops to -4. The fifth monster was naturally attacked by Karula and Rasa, raising sand created a desert environment, so Luo Sha didn't need to release the gold sands in the space scroll at all. After obtaining the power of Takawa, Rasa's magnetic escape technique was upgraded. In the Pokémon world, the power of Evergreen is the ability to communicate with and heal spirits. It is a gift from the Evergreen Forest. The owner of the power of Evergreen is the darling of nature. The power of Evergreen can mobilize the energy of nature. With the power of Changpin combined with magnetic escape, the flying sands in the sky is all within Luo Sha's control, and Luo Sha can also extract gold from the ground without any consumption. The false main force of the Sandstorm team, Bangala the real main force of the Sandstorm team, Luo Sha, Luo Wu Wakesha and Kokuzu fought back and forth for a long time, and finally the two of them tacitly released their ultimate moves to attack each other: Magnetic Escape, Golden Burial, Wind Escape, Press. Luo Sha and the monster both used their ultimate moves. A huge amount of gold sand and a wind ball condensed by high pressure collided in the air, and a huge vortex storm broke out. But the monsters also have another opponent, Karula, Seal of Sand. Karula, who is acting as a pendant throughout the whole process, took advantage of the confrontation between the two and used a sealing technique to temporarily subdue the monster. The wind ball exploded immediately, and the gold sand pressed down, burying the monster. 5 battles were carried out simultaneously and were over in just 5 minutes. Each of Kokuzu's clones had the combat power of an elite Chunin, but were defeated one by the Sand Village group. If Kokuzu didn't use his clone, his real body would have the strength of a cage and the battle might have lasted longer. Kokuzu, who has always been the one to beat up others in a group, experienced a feeling of being beaten up in a group for the first time today. Luo Sha didn't kill him in the end, because he knew Yuan Yu's situation very well. If the fifth heart was also broken, Kokuzu would really die. This is the future financial manager of Akatsuki, and now he is still a wandering ninja. How could Rasa bear to kill him? As the saying goes, we are not afraid of having needs, we are afraid of having no needs. Kokuzu loves money and knows how to make money. Luo Sha needs a strong and profitable person to expand the market. Now, not only can the elf business not enter the other 4 major countries, but it can't even enter the small countries. A powerful dragon cannot defeat a local snake, and the nobles of those small countries strongly oppose the influx of elves into their countries, because the arrival of elves would make the common people powerful, which would be detrimental to their rule in the land of wind. Even with a guarantee of the sand village, the daimyo still imposed many restrictions on the development of the elf business. Luo Sha couldn't do anything, and Shagu wouldn't allow Luo Sha to do anything out of line. Luo Sha knew that he could only wait until he inherited the position of Wind Shadow in the future to truly expand the elves to the residents of the entire country. But I can't do anything to a big country like you, so how dare you, a small country, bully me, Luo Sha couldn't do it himself, as he was the future Kazekage. Going to a small country and killing nobles would damage his reputation. Luo Sha needed a strong ninja who was also good at business to expand the market. Luo Sha himself was not in a position to do it, and Jin Duoduo was in charge of the Wind Kingdom and could not spare the time. He could not find a suitable person for a while, which delayed the elves' development into the small country. Kokuzu's appearance is truly a timely relief. Kokuzu is a wandering ninja who will kill anyone who gets in his way of making money. Kokuzu already has a bad reputation, having killed all the high-ranking officials of Takigakure, and now he is still called a traitor. He already has a bad reputation, so he is not afraid of getting even worse. Luo Sha felt that this was a good time to recruit Kokuzu into the group. Since you have brought it to my door yourself, don't blame me, Luo. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28: The Kingdom of Iron. At this time, Kokuzu was digging hard in the 3-meter-deep gold sand. A hand stretched out from the sand, and the hand covered with sand crawled out tremblingly. This sand is so heavy. Kokuzu, young people have no moral principles. I was careless and didn't dodge. You actually beat up an old man like me. Kokuzu, who had just crawled out, had not yet caught his breath when he saw 27 pairs of eyes in front of him, staring at him. Kokuzu immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Kokuzu, who only had one heart left, hadn't felt this kind of feeling for a long time. The last time he failed was in the battle with Senju Hashirama, who threw a shuriken from 800 miles away and ran away, so he didn't feel scared at all. Now Kokuzu is not only feeling fear, but also despair. Why are young people nowadays so terrible? I want to go home. Save me, someone save me. With only one heart left, Kokuzu made a bitter face, and pulled the corners of his mouth into a flattering smile. The adults of the Sand Village, I can give you 2,000 million taels, or can you please spare me? The rebel ninja Kokuzu from Takigakure village is quite powerful. Luo Sha remained motionless and continued to stare at Kokuzu. 2,000 million taels, who are you looking down on? 4,000 million taels. Kokuzu asked tentatively, but when he saw that Luo Sha was still unmoved, he immediately became angry. 8,000 million taels, it really can't be any more. If you still don't agree, just kill me. Giant Oda is a person who values money more than life. 8,000 million taels is his bottom line. Do you want to see what you're stepping on, huh? What? Kokuzu lowered his head, immediately shocked. Gold, so much gold? No wonder the sand is so heavy. It took me so much effort to climb out. It's so heavy, it's all money, all money. Ho ha ho ho. Kokuzu went mad and sank into the gold sand, burying himself. This is gold dust. I can extract gold from it. If you work for me, you will have all the gold you want, and the salary will definitely satisfy you. Really? How much salary can you give me? Kokuzu immediately jumped out from the gold sand, looking excited. Here is the account book, take a look at it first. As for the salary, we split it 80% to 20%, 80% for me and 20% for you. I will also be responsible for the products and transportation, I just need you to sell the products to the small countries," Luo Sha said as he took out the account book from the space scroll. Kakuzu took it immediately and skillfully opened the account book to quickly check it. "It's too much? It's really too much?" Kakuzu became more and more excited as he looked at it, and an unnatural blush appeared on his face. The revenue in the first year reached 3.9 million taels, in the second year it reached 5.7 million taels, and in the third year it reached an astonishing 9.5 million taels. Moreover, the market in the Kingdom of Wind is not saturated, and the revenue will continue to rise. This was the income he had earned from bounties for 10 years, but Luo Sha earned it in just 1 year. 30-70. Kakuzu put down the account book, looking serious. "No, it can only be split 80-20, how? About my score of 2.5 and yours of 7.5. Kakuzu gritted his teeth and said with great sorrow after some bargaining, the final agreement was 1,000 split, but Luo Sha would pay Kakuzu kilograms of gold every year. Both of them were satisfied and continued to discuss the details of the cooperation, and finally agreed to start from the Bird Kingdom. After discussing everything, Rosa handed a Pokemon encyclopedia to Kakuzu, which allows for two-way communication. Seeing that everything was resolved, when Luo Sha was about to leave, Kakuzu took out a space scroll to stop Luo Sha, and pleaded with Luo Sha to put all the gold sand on the ground into it. Luo Sha waved his hand, and gold sand flew into the scroll continuously until the scroll was full. Kakuzu held the scroll filled with gold dust with an excited look on his face, and took out 5 space scrolls. Luo Sha. In the end, Kakuzu happily left with the 6 scrolls in his arms and walked away with light steps. By the way, he told Rasa a good news that the Jinchuriki of Takigakure was in a very bad condition. Takigakure is the only small ninja village that has tailed beasts. It is quite powerful. The 7-tailed beast is in the hands of Takigakure. Luo Sha was naturally moved. Chongming has more chakra than Shukaku and his personality is more stable than Shukaku. Rasa himself did not have any urgent need for the tailed beasts. Rasa was preparing to practice fairy arts, so it didn't matter how much chakra he had, as long as it was enough. But if Xiao Ai wants to drive a Gundam, he needs chakra. His mind raced, and Rasa took out the illustrated guide to send a message to Sako. He also made an appointment with Kakuzu to go to Takigakure to retrieve the tailed beast. Rasa was too lazy to argue with Kakuzu, so he directly promised to give Kakuzu 1,000 kilograms of gold as a reward, and Kakuzu readily agreed. Luo Sha and his group continued their journey towards the Iron Kingdom. The journey was smooth and they successfully arrived at the Iron Kingdom after 3 days. Rasa first visited the samurai leader Mr. Mifune and ordered a large amount of military supplies from the Iron Kingdom. Luo Sha did not mention the elves because the samurai were too conservative and they were unwilling to accept the existence of ninjas. It was very difficult to convince them. At midnight, Luo Sha directly placed 2 blue habitats and 5 green habitats in the Iron Kingdom. Nearly 5 elves appeared in the Iron Kingdom overnight. The blue habitats are named Tikian Habitat and Tikian Habitat, and the green habitats are named Tiaitatu. Most of the Pokemon in the Iron Kingdom are fighting, bug, and steel types. The fighting type includes Infernape, Strong, Hercules, Duman, Parasol, Builder, and Giant Forge. The steel type Pokemons include Fortis, Claws, Armorbird, Mwaba, Shield Blade, and Slash Commander. There are even more insect type Pokemon, such as Butterfree, Beedrill, Parasite, and Mormoth. All over the mountains. The strongest creature in Tikian's habitat is a LV-60 shield sword monster, and the strongest creature in Tikian's habitat is a LV-59 monster of strength. Luo Sha was envious of the new elves in the habitat, as the variety of elves exceeded Luo Sha's expectations. The construction craftsman family can join the construction industry, the giant forge master and the super strong family can join the blacksmith industry, and the Parasaurolophus and Piraster can go to the sand village to grow mushrooms. Luo Sha uses the power of Changpan to communicate with the elves, and together with the elf cube, he guides the elves to the sand village. Wild elves usually eat tree fruits. How could they have ever eaten something as delicious as elf cubes? With the power of evergreen and delicious food, the weird Uncle Rosa successfully lured innocent Pokemon into the Pokeball. The 4 of them spent 3 days in the Kingdom of Iron, taming 20 old builders and 25 strange monsters. 30 great blacksmiths, 10 toadshrooms and 50 parasites. Let us congratulate the above 135 elves for being included in the Sand Village. The strongest monster with strong strength and strong shield sword, Rosa, has not been conquered. The Iron Kingdom is not as good as the Wind Kingdom. The warriors of the Iron Kingdom may conflict with the elves. As the strongest in the habitat, they can protect the elves in the habitat. The emergence of the elves is bound to bring an impact to the Iron Kingdom. Only after the warriors of the Iron Kingdom recognize the existence of the elves, can Luo Sha start negotiations with the warriors collectively. Chief Mifune is a man with a long-term vision. There is a conflict between the samurai profession and the ninja profession, but there is no conflict between samurai and trainer. With the help of elves, the strength of the samurai can be enhanced. It is almost a certainty that the Iron Kingdom will accept the elves, and all Luo Sha has to do is wait. The four of them started their journey back, but Shigeaki Nanao of Takegakure village was still waiting to be received by Sans villages for stealing the tailed beasts from other ninja villages. Nonsense, is that robbery? How can a ninja's business be called robbery? That was originally the tailed beast of the Sand village, but the first generation temporarily gave it to the Takegakure village for Safeta keeping. Now the Sand village is going to take it back. Chapter 29, Yaya is the group's favorite. After Luo Sha returned to the Sand village, he arranged the elves to their respective positions. Parasoma and Piraster entered the agricultural class under the administrative department, and Colossal Blacksmith and Super Strength entered the newly established forging class of the elf department. In addition, a third village construction company, Laojiang Construction Company, was established. A green belt has been built outside the Sand village, and with the help of the spirits with the Yangsha personality that can control the direction of the Sand village is no longer troubled by wind and sand. The villagers' houses have been transformed from 2 buildings into courtyards. However, there were not enough talents in the construction of Sand village, so they could only renovate slowly. The Luo Sha family was the first to complete the renovation, and the others were still looking forward to it. After the establishment of the Laojiang Construction Company, orders exploded. After all, every ninja wanted to live in a big mansion as soon as possible. March 29th, the 7th year of Sunagakure Sand Village, Kazekage Building. Master, is there any specific news about Takegakure Village? Rasa entered the Kazekage's office holding Siddiq. Well, the Anbu received news this morning that the Jinchuriki of Takegakure is too old, and he may not live long. Takegakure is preparing to transfer the tailed beast to new Jinchuriki. There are 2 candidates for the new Jinchuriki of Takegakure. One is the Jonin Uaya, and the other is a 2-year-old baby named Fu. Rasa, this is indeed a good time for us to take action. Shagu took the Siddiq and started stroking it. Quack. Siddiq rubbed happily in Shagu's arms, took the snacks handed to him and started to nibble on them. The Sand Village, the real group favorite, Yaya is happy again. The flame chicken standing by looked at Siddiq's disappointing appearance, snorted proudly, and closed his eyes to take a nap. Shagu also handed the snack to the flame chicken, and the flame chicken raised his eyelids and took it. As the leader of the tribe, Shagu's Charizard often stayed in the Charizard tribe, living a carefree life with his wife and children. Steelix was huge and was kept outside the village, but he dug a tunnel to his home and would go home on time at night. Only Flame Chicken, although he looked cool and handsome, was a clingy and arrogant person, and always stayed by Shagu's side. Who is the village going to send? Although Takegakure village is not as good as the 5 major ninja villages, it is not weak either. Luo Sha looked at Siddiq's round belly and flicked it with his hand. Quack. Yaya turned her head and continued to eat snacks. As the captain of the sealing squad, Li Fang must go. The tailed beasts are of great importance, so Elder Xiao, as a cage-level warrior, must go as well. However, Xiao Ai wanted to become the 7 Tails Jinchuriki, but so wouldn't allow it, and the two had a big fight. Now the candidate for the 7 Tails Jinchuriki has not been decided yet. Shagu said as he stroked the duck. Xiao Ai has awakened the magnetic release, and it is a foregone conclusion that he will become a cage-level powerhouse in the future. It is normal for Xiao Ai to disagree. But master, as long as Xiao Ai becomes a Jinchuriki, he can cross the cage-level threshold in a short period of time. It is not impossible for him to surpass the cage level in the future with the help of magnetic release, Red Iron Future. It was Rasa who suggested that Xiao Ai become the 7 Tails Jinchuriki. Xiao Ai listened to Rasa in everything and insisted on becoming a Jinchuriki. Last night, he made Xiao Ai so angry that he was sent to the hospital again. The Sand Ninjas have too deep a fear and prejudice against the tailed beasts, but Shukaku, the raccoon cat, has no desire to communicate with humans, which results in the prejudice never being eliminated. So naturally has a prejudice against the tailed beasts, so he strongly opposes Xiao Ai from becoming a Jinchuriki. Now in Xiao Ai's mouth, Xiao Ai has changed from my son. Xiao Ai has the talent of the Kazekage to rebellious son. You are going to make me angry to death. It's a misfortune for my family. God, what sin have I committed? Zhongyu, who had been to the hospital 3 times in just 2 days, looked at Zhongmi, who still refused to repent, and lay down like Caltex. Zhongyu, you listen to Luo Sha in everything, right? Luo Sha has given you some kind of magic potion. Don't regret it later. So finally gave in and agreed to let Xiao Ai become the 7-tails Jinchuriki, and everyone was happy. On July 29th of the 7th year of Tsunagakure, Rasa and his crew set out again for Takakuni. The accompanying personnel include the 4 members of Luo Sha's team, plus Xiao and Li Fin. Looking at the wise-eyed Slow King beside Xiao, Luo Sha fell into deep thought. No, where did you come from? Name, King of Slowpoke. Gender, male. Attributes, water. Psychic features, regeneration, restores a small amount of HP every 5 minutes. Level, LV 71, early shadow level, individual, 3 volt, HP 30, attack 20, defense 31, special attack 31, special defense 31, speed 20, skills, trick, power gem, yawn, telekinesis, immobilization, water wave, headbutt, instant amnesia, surfing, psychic power, healing wave. It turns out that there is a hidden boss in the Sand Village. No, the key is how did Chiako train a cage-level Slow King? Even with such a powerful cheat, Ebizo's crystal lamp spirit is still stuck at level 69. Granny. Chiao, where did you capture this Slow King? Luo Sha asked without understanding. Slow King. I captured it in the lake where I fish every day. I don't know what happened, but Slow King ran to the shore, opened my Pokeball, and went in by itself. Maybe this is fate. Slow King helps me pass the time when I fish normally. Xiao couldn't help but smile when she recalled the experience of capturing Slow King, because I also love fishing and swimming, and Xiao and I get along very well, so I took the initiative to become Xiao's elf. The spiritual voice of the Slow King sounded in everyone's heart. Wow, so powerful, the same ability as Guard Devwar. Yukang said in surprise. Slow King is also a psychic-type Pokemon. Only psychic-type Pokemon with extraordinary talents can learn telepathy. Slow King is still very powerful. Luo Sha explained. No, I'm just lucky. The Dai King said modestly. We are going to ride the Charizard to the border of the Wind Kingdom. Slow King, are you going to stay outside or go back to the Pokeball? Luo Sha rode on the Charizard and looked at Slow King. I'd better stay outside. I want to protect Xiao. You don't have to worry about me. I can just use my superpowers to float. A blue light flashed in Slow King's eyes, and the whole elf floated up. A group of people were traveling through the desert riding camels and holding umbrellas. Hoo-hoo, give me 6 glasses of juice. Luo Sha released Hoo-hoo and put 6 orange fruits into Hoo-hoo's shell. Pot 6. Freshly made glasses of orange juice were delivered to everyone. Quack. Sidic, who ran out of the Pokeball by itself, shouted and looked at Luo Sha eagerly. Luo Sha touched the duck's head lovingly and gave the orange juice to Sidic. Xiao, who was standing by, was holding the orange juice with a shocked look on her face. Xiao, a stay-at-home girl who slacked off every day and relied on her brother for everything, hadn't been to the commercial street for 3 years. This was the first time she saw such a novel way of squeezing juice. Luo Sha, is this Pokemon Hoo-hoo? Do you have any more? Can you give me one? Action speaks louder than words. Xiao spoke decisively. It would be a nice thing to have a glass of juice while fishing in the future King Dai. It turns out Xiao loves drinking juice. I guess I have to learn how to squeeze juice. Chapter 30 Takigakure Village. Is the Takigakure village behind this waterfall? Yukang asked in surprise. Takigakure Village, located in Taki no Kuni, is a hidden village hidden by a huge waterfall. Before the rise of Hanzo of the Salamander, Takigakure Village was the #1 small ninja village. The Takigakure Village also has the hero's water passed down from generation to generation that can increase a ninja's chakra by dozens of times, but it has strong side effects and will accelerate the loss of vitality. Yes, because of its unique geographical location, Takigakure has never been attacked until now. It's just that Kokuzu slaughtered all the high-level officials of Takigakure 20 years ago, and Takigakure has not recovered yet. If it weren't for the existence of Nanabe, Takigakure would have lost its position as the #1 small ninja village long ago. Xiao explained. After today, Takigakure Village will really be inferior to Rangakure Village. Xiao Ai said with a smile. The group put on masks and the black clothes with red clouds prepared by Luo Sha. On the back of the clothes, there was a red moon embroidered on it. Rosakun, this outfit is so cool. Karula exclaimed. I designed this myself. Remember, from now on we are not ninjas from the Sands Village. Our organization is called Akatsuki. Luo Sha, can you give me one too? King Dede said in a voice transmission, here, for you. Luo Sha took out a set of clothes and gave it to King Dede. King Slow put on black clothes and a mask, and Slowpoke was born. I am now the Azure Dragon. Xiao Ai, you are the White Tiger. Karula is the Black Tortoise. Your king is the Suzaku. Grandma Xiao is the North Star. Slow King, you are the South Star. And Uncle Li Feng is the Sora. After Luo Sha explained everything, the group crossed a waterfall and arrived at the outskirts of Takigakure village. Geng. Gui, go and find out the exact location of the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki first. Remember, don't have any ill will towards him. A group of people were hiding in the dense forest, and Luo Sha said to Shadow, hey. Geng Gui responded and left. An hour later, Jengar emerged from the shadows, took out a pen and paper from his mouth, and drew a detailed distribution of the Takigakure village, constantly pointing to several locations with his fat little hands. G. This is the location of the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki. G. This is Ui's location. G. This is Fu's location. G. This is where the leader of Takigakure village lives. Rasa acted as an interpreter and informed everyone of several important locations in Takigakure village. I'm awesome, right? Awesome, you are worthy of being the smartest Jengar. Luo Sha tapped Jengar's forehead and praised, wow, Jengar, you're so awesome. Your king hugged Jengar's round body and praised, gee, Jengar. Shyly hid in Luo Sha's shadow and wouldn't come out no matter how he called. When night falls, the Nanabe hunting operation is officially launched. Let's deal with the high-ranking officials of Takigakure first, and then go find the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki. The tailed beast can sense malicious intent, and a battle is inevitable. Xiao took the lead, took out poison gas to knock out the high-ranking officials of Takigakure who were still asleep, and then carried out the assassination. As for the patrolling ninjas, they were also knocked unconscious. The group did not take any extreme measures, only assassinating the top ninjas, and did not kill the other ninjas. Without the top leaders, Takigakure will be in chaos, and they will have no time to trouble Sunagakure afterwards. If Takigakure is restless, then they can hire Kokuzu to come and give Takigakure some humanistic care. I believe Kokuzu will be happy to serve. The nights in Takigakure village are usually quiet, but tonight it is especially quiet. When Luo Sha was dealing with the leader of Takigakure village, he found the water of heroes and put it into the space scroll. 1 hour later, after resolving the matter, everyone gathered at the residence of the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki. Who? The Seven-Tails Jinchuriki. Yuming opened his eyes while sleeping. He felt several malicious attacks coming at him. Yuming stood up immediately, and at that moment Yuming's bed exploded, and the gold sand crushed the bed. It is magnetic escape, shattered glass. That was a close call. Before Yuming could recover from the shock, he realized that he was completely surrounded. 6 people and a hippopotamus walked in. Xiao used the barrier ninjutsu barrier, Lion's Roar, to isolate the entire house from the outside world. No matter how loud the noise was here, as long as the barrier was not broken, no sound could be heard. 9-Tails Jinchuriki, just surrender. Xiao, who was walking in the lead, spoke slowly, not taking Yuming seriously at all. Insanity. Yuming was angry by Xiao's words, and the chakra aura around his body became more intense in an instant. The phantom of Nanao Shigeaki was looming behind him, emitting a terrifying chakra pressure. Secret technique. The technique of scale pink hiding. Ming spat out countless scale powders from his mouth and attacked the 6 people. Puppet technique. Machine light shield. The Chikamatsu 10 formed a huge shield, blocking Yuming's attack and rebounding it. Yuming immediately pulled away to avoid the attack, but 10 puppets quickly approached him. White secret technique. Chikamatsu 10 people. Xiao's 10 fingers kept dancing, and the Chikamatsu 10 people flexibly started close combat with Yuming. Yuming was almost in a coffin. His physical skills had deteriorated badly, and he was beaten back step by step by the 10 puppets. Yuming, who was beaten into a pig's head, found the opportunity to quickly withdraw, gasping for breath. The pain from his body almost made Yuming faint. Yuming formed seals with his hands, and the phantom of Nanamichi Shigeaki instantly became real. with 7 wings growing out from his back, turning into a half-tailed beast. Bugs eat bites. Yuming flew high into the sky, and his 7 tails swept towards Xiao, creating a strong whirlwind. Xiao quickly jumped up and did a beautiful roll in the air to avoid the attack skillfully. At the same time, she used her hands constantly to control the Chikamatsu 10 to shoot steel wires at Yuming. Drill, steel wire. Facing the flying chakra wire, Yuming wanted to dodge it, but he didn't know when his movements were frozen. It's the telekinesis of Slow King. 10 steel wires pierced through Yuming's body in succession. Yuming lowered his head in shock. 10 steel wires pierced into Yuming's chest, perfectly avoiding his heart. Yuming endured the pain, condensed a tailed beast ball from his mouth and shot it at Xiao. The mechanical light shield of the Chikamatsu 10 people was broken by the tailed beast ball, but Slow King used guard to block it. Cough. Cough. Yuming spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood and fell from the air with his last breath, hitting the ground. Li Fang immediately stepped forward and used the sealing technique. He put his hands together and a dazzling light burst out from his palms, pulling Nanabi Shigeaki out of Yaoming's body. Yaoming was about to die, and Chongming was also feeling uncomfortable. Chongming didn't want to die with the old man, so he let Li Fang pull him out. Li Fang directed Chongming's chakra towards the tea kettle, which was the 6 paths ninja tool of the Sand Village. This tea kettle was used to seal Shukaku. Shigeaki became the second-tailed beast to be imprisoned in the tea kettle after Shukaku. Xiao used medical ninjutsu to force Yaoming to hold on and not breathe his last breath. Xiao stopped the ninjutsu only after the 7 tails was completely extracted. Yuming finally breathed his last, but his eyes were open, which was quite creepy. Yu Kang used a burning escape technique and burned her to ashes. The 6 people took the 2-year-old Fu away and evacuated to Kigakure village. Chapter 31, Shigeaki and Shukaku. The faint light after dawn gradually penetrated the curtain of night, and the sky began to turn pale. When the next morning dawned, the Tokigakure ninjas came to the street and were shocked to find that all the top leaders had been assassinated. More importantly, the residence of the 7 Tails Jinchuriki Yuki was left with a mess of traces of battle, and Yuki was nowhere to be found. All the high-ranking officials died, and Tokigakure village was leaderless. The whereabouts of the 7 Tails was unknown, and Tokigakure village no longer had nuclear deterrence, and from then on it was no different from other small ninja villages. The Taki ninjas were immediately panicked. After a period of chaos, a special Jonin, Shirao-lin, stepped forward, temporarily stabilized the situation, and immediately sent ninjas to the Fire Country's Konoha village for help. 3 days later, when the news that Tokigakure had lost the 7 tails spread throughout the ninja world, Rasa and the other 6 had already returned to the Sand Village. The 6 people acted in secret, and Tokigakure village has not found the murderer yet. Unless Sand Village exposes the 7 tails, this matter will become an unsolved injustice. Rosa gave Fu to Gades to raise. Gades originally refused, but when he heard Rosa say that Fu was gifted, was a candidate for Tokigakure's Jinchuriki, and would become a powerful ninja in the future, and that she was the same age as Ishimaru, Gades became more and more moved by what Rosa said. He looked at the cute Fu, then at Giallo, who was always sticking to Rosa, and decided to adopt Fu Caltex. Ishimaru, you better do better and be like Luo Sha, who knew how to bring his wife home since he was a child. 2-year-old Fu was still young and couldn't remember anything. She cried loudly when she first came to the new environment, but she quickly adapted to the new life after playing with Ishimaru. Fu has made all the arrangements, and next up is Nanao Shigeaki. Shigeaki is known as the most cunning of the tailed beasts. He can use clay to disguise himself. When he encounters a strong enemy, he will hide from the enemy by changing color to blend into the environment. There is no doubt that Shigeaki is easier to approach than Shukaku. Chiyo, Seigo, Rasa, Xiao Ai and others came to an open space far away from the Sand Village and began to reason with Shigeaki in the teapot, but Chongming didn't react at all. Chongming, I won't listen to the turtle chanting scriptures. Luo Sha directly asked the elves to use rocks to blockade and create a closed environment, so that Shagu, Chiyo, and Slow King could communicate with Chongming. Luo Sha took out the recliner, drank juice and waited outside for half an hour, listening to the ups and downs of the insects chirping inside, which was quite rhythmic. Well, after some loving education, Chongming can communicate well. Rasa, Xiao Ai will become your Jinchuriki, and you are not allowed to cause trouble in the future, Chongming said weakly. Okay Luo Sha, be good and give your chakra to Xiao Ai, or I will pull you out and beat you up, Chongming. Xing Wulin, okay. Finally, Li Fang used the sealing technique, Phantom 9 Dragon Sealing, to seal Chongming into Zonggai's body. Chongming did not resist at all, and everything went unexpectedly smoothly. Chongming, who understands my family? In Takigakure, I am the boss, but in Sand Village, I become a sandbag in a power bank. The key is that I can't beat them. They are too bullying. As soon as Xiao Ai became the Seven Tails Jinchuriki, his chakra amount skyrocketed, and with the help of magnetic release, red iron, his strength directly reached the level of an elite Chunin, on the same level as Rasa. Well, it is possible that he is stronger than Rosa, but Xiao Ai is a die-hard fan of Rosa, so he would never dare to fight with Rosa. It is easy to deal with the smart Chongming, but it is difficult to deal with the stupid Shukaku. The group thought that since they were already here, they might as well go find Shukaku. Finfuku lived in a semi-enclosed valley, and the original environment was deep and dark, like a cage. Until 3 years ago, after a long talk, Luo Sha and Shagu came to Finfuku, improved Finfuku's living environment, and had a pleasant exchange with Shukaku. Shagu discovered that Shukaku was indeed an intelligent creature as Rasa said. It could communicate like elves and could be used by the Sand Village. Shagu started to talk to Shukaku from time to time, but even though Shukaku's body was loose, his mouth was still stiff and he kept mocking Shagu. Shagu got angry because of the ridicule, and he looked for Shukaku to talk more and more frequently. Rasa was shocked to see Shukaku being beaten to pulp but still mocking him. Oh my god. A ball of chakra started speaking. Later, Shagu came to care for Shukaku from time to time. After caring for a whole year, Shukaku still looked like he deserved a beating, so Shagu was too lazy to pay attention to Shukaku. Because Shagu's hands were cramped from fighting. Shukaku, woo woo woo, they finally left. It hurts me so much. At this moment, Shukaku looked at the seal with a missing hole, and the memories of 2 years ago suddenly flooded into his mind, and he had a bad premonition. Shukaku was released briefly, and Finfuku, who hadn't slept for a month, finally felt his ears were quiet and fell asleep in his second Finfuku. How can one sleep with a chatterbox-tailed beast in one's body? Finfu was relieved, but Shukaku was unhappy. Shukaku, who came out at this time, was confused. After he reacted, he immediately started to taunt. Hey, let me see who is here. Isn't this the Kazekage of the weakest ninja village? Oh, before Shukaku could finish his words, iron sands shot out from the ground and pierced Shukaku's mouth. Shukaku, director, someone is not acting according to the script. He started attacking me before I even finished my words. He showed no moral integrity by attacking Sneak, a 1,000-year-old baby like me. The next scene was too unbearable to watch, as Sotetsu stabbed Shukaku through the heart, and Shukaku's entire body turned into balls of chakra. The ball of chakra at the top began to emit a fragrant aroma. Zongyat and the others looked at the scene in front of them and swallowed hard in fear. Especially Chongming, and Zongmi's body was trembling. Only then did Chongming realize how gentle Shagu had been to it just now. Shigeaki, Lord Kazekage, you are a good person. I will definitely serve the Sand Village well in the future. Luo Sha was not surprised by this, until 30 minutes later, when Shagu stuffed Shukaku back into Fubuku's body, stabilized the seal again, clapped his hands, and left with everyone. Shagu felt that he hadn't cared about Shukaku for a long time. It felt so good. He should take more care of him in the future. Shagu, everything is for the village. Shukaku, don't come over here. It takes Shukaku at least 10 hours to condense his body, so he doesn't have time to nag in Finfuku's ear. Finfuku can get a good night's sleep. 3 years later, Shukaku began its miserable days again. And Chongming needed to come and watch every time. Seeing Shukaku's miserable appearance, Chongming became more and more docile and became a model of a good-tailed beast. Chongming looked at Shukaku, who was beaten 15 times in a month, fell into a long silence, and then started to play badly. Xiao Ai successfully mastered the half-tailed beast transformation 1 month after becoming the Seven Tails Jinchuriki. His strength is approximately LV 70.99, which is just a step away from the cage level. Seeing that Chongming was so sensible, Shagu was satisfied and let Shukaku go. The toolman and sandbag Shukaku finally returned to his peaceful daily life. And after a month of peace, Finfuku returned to his daily life of chanting sutras by raccoon cats. Chapter 32. The war begins. It was night on August 29th, the 8th year of Sand Village. Sand Village, the Sandame's mansion master, is the village preparing to start a war. Luo Sha looked at Shagu, who had returned home, and asked his doubts. Nanabe is missing, and the 5 major ninja villages are suspicious of each other. In the past few days, The foreign affairs departments of the 5 major ninja villages have seen a surge in business, and a new chapter in the war of public opinion has begun. But for the Sand Village Foreign Affairs Department, it's just a drop in the bucket. In the previous war of words, the Sand Village was 1 to 3.5, and this time it's the 5 major ninja villages cursing each other as for where does 3.5 come from. Konoha can only be considered half, because Konoha was scolded even worse by the 4 major ninja villages. The Sand Village has been behaving strangely these past few days, with ninja troops frequently moving toward the border between wind and fire. Konoha immediately got furious and also began to send troops to the border for confrontation. The rain country, caught on the middle, you guys just confront each other, why are you coming here? Shagu took a sip of tea and said calmly, the matter of snatching the 7 tails cannot be concealed for long. Ever since the decision to snatch the 7 tails, the Sand Village has been preparing for war. The Sand Village has long wanted to start a war, and the change of the 7 tails Jinchuriki is a good opportunity. Regardless of whether we win or lose this war, at least we have got the 7 tails. If we lose, we won't lose, and if we win, it's a win-win situation. What's more, we will win this war. Luo Sha was stunned when he heard Shagu's confident words. Luo Sha was just a student in his previous life. No matter how smart he was in this life, he was still just a child and could not get in touch with the high-level plans. Luo Sha had never thought so much before. It turns out that the war had already started when the fight for the 7 tails began. The 7 tails was the fuse of the war. During this period of time, tell Xiao Ai not to use any abilities related to the tailed beasts when he's outside. The matter of the 7 tails should be kept secret for as long as possible. When Tsunagakure and Konoha go to war, the other 3 ninja villages will definitely stand on our side. As long as the war starts and the 5 major ninja villages are dragged into it, even if Xiao Ai is exposed, the other ninja villages will not turn their guns on us. No ninja village has the ability to declare war on Tsunagakure while going to war with Konoha. Shagu suggested. I understand, Master. Luo Sha nodded. You don't need to participate in this war. Just stay in the village and don't go anywhere, okay? Shagu said seriously. Master, I know you are considering my safety, but I now have the strength of an elite Chunin, and with the elves, I will have no problem protecting myself on the battlefield. Besides, how can I lead the Sand Village like you in the future if I have never participated in a war? Luo Sha retorted. Luo Sha is not enthusiastic about war, and even opposes it. However, if he wants to unify the ninja world and put an end to the endless wars, he must become stronger and become the strongest in the world. War is the way for Rasa to grow quickly, and it is also the inevitable pain in the process of unifying the ninja world. Shagu was silent for a moment, looking at Luo Sha's determined eyes, and slowly said, you can go to the battlefield, but you have to wait until the situation on the battlefield stabilizes. We old guys are not dead yet, so it's not your turn. Also, I will not be with you on the battlefield, you must obey the commander's orders. Elder Xiao will participate in the war this time, I will entrust you to her, don't run around, understand, eh? No, Master. Luo Sha said obediently, and walked forward to hug Shagu. Quack. Siduk ran out of the Pokeball and ran up to ask for a hug. On the second day after the confrontation between Konoha and Tsunagakure ninjas, a piece of news spread throughout the ninja world. The Hidden Rain Village declared war on the Hidden Leaf Village, the Hidden Sand Village, and the Hidden Mist Village at the same time. Everyone can understand that the Hidden Rain Village declared war on the Hidden Leaf Village and the Hidden Sand Village, but what about the Hidden Mist Village? The Hidden Mist Village itself was in a state of confusion. Hanzo of the Salamander is a smart man. The Land of Rain is geographically located between the 4 major countries. If he declares war on the Hidden Cloud Village and the Hidden Iwa Village, a war will really break out. The Land of Rain will change from a battlefield of 2 countries to a battlefield of 4 countries. Declaring war on Konoha Village and Sand Village was a must because the ninjas of the 2 countries were already preparing to fight in the Rain Country. The Hidden Mist Village was dragged into the water because it could not defeat the Hidden Rain Village at all. In order to demonstrate the strength and courage of the Hidden Rain Village, Hanzo of the Salamander also included the Hidden Mist Village when declaring war. Salamander Hanzo, do you have the guts to come and hit me? Are you angry if you can't hit me? The Hidden Mist Village exploded with anger, and the Hidden Mist ninjas were outraged. As one of the 5 major ninja villages, they were provoked by a small ninja village. How could they tolerate this? However, if you want to attack the Hidden Rain Village, You must either pass through the land of wind or the land of fires for the river country, which is sandwiched between the wind and fire countries. If the Karigakure sends troops from the river country to the rain village, the Karigakure will first have to face the beating from the sand village in Konoha. The geographical location of the river country is critical. Neither Sunagakure nor Konoha will allow armies from other ninja villages to enter the river country, because that would directly threaten the security of the two countries' homelands. Karigakure looked around and realized that there really had no way to deal with the hidden rain village, so they could only ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to start a war. As a result, Hanzo of the Salamander was not afraid at all. He personally went on the field to exchange swear words with a hidden mist village. A famous saying, "The third Mizukage is paired with a three-tailed turtle," spread throughout the ninja world, making it very lively. Hanzo of the Salamander took a tough stance towards external parties and began to preach war at home. The Rain Shadow's declaration that the Rain Country is the Rain Country of the Hidden Rain Village aroused the warlike spirit of the people of the Rain Country. Nationalism rose in the Rain Country, igniting war sentiment. Hanzo of the Salamander's ambition is obvious, and he directly calls himself Rain Shadow. The Hidden Mist Village is so anxious that they can only cry out, but Konoha and Sunagakure tacitly stop the confrontation and start cooperating to attack the Hidden Rain Village. "You're the only one who's so arrogant, right?" The turmoil in the ninja world did not affect Rasa's life at all. The Sand Village has currently dispatched 5,000 ninjas, with Xiao as the general commander. Xiao, who was slacking off, was forced to work, and she rarely showed any enthusiasm for work. Xiao, in future historical records, it should be me, Xiao, who is the architect of victory in World War II, and I also contributed to the rise of Sunagakure. Xiao doesn't care about power or money, but only about reputation. That's why she took the initiative to take on this responsibility. Xiao and Leon also followed Xiao to join the war. Luo Sha suddenly had an idea and persuaded Shagu to send the Steelix troops to the battlefield, commanded exclusively by Xiao and Leon. The Steelix troops come from the Onyx tribe in the Fenkian habitat, with a total of 30. The leader of the troops is Shagu's cage-level Steelix, which is the top force of the Sand Village. If Xiao and Leon could still be hacked to death by Hatake Tsukumo, then there would be nothing Luo Sha could do. Luo Sha couldn't always keep an eye on the two of them on the battlefield. Rasa only knew that the two would die in the Second Ninja World War. Since World War II lasted for such a long time, it was impossible to estimate the exact day. Soul Palace version. Luo Sha, Scorpion, you'd better just follow your brother obediently. Don't worry, I will be your stepfather from now on, hehe. Chapter 33. Young Scorpion, War begins. The 2-year-old Scorpion is soft and tender, and his intelligence is far beyond his peers, and his peers are the silly boy Ishimaru. When the two are compared, Ishimaru is completely defeated. Every time Gaddix looked at Scorpion and then at his son, he was puzzled. How could the gap be so big? The education of children must start from an early age. Following Luo Sha's suggestion, Xiao captured 2 Scorpio kings and a Scorpio baby from Fenkin's habitat, and the Scorpio baby became Scorpio's playmate. Xiao went to the front line, and Xiao and Leon followed Xiao, and Scorpion was entrusted to Ebizo. However, Ebizo was busy all day and had no time to take care of Scorpion, so he entrusted Scorpion to Rasa. Ebizo would never have thought that because of his action, Scorpion would become Rasa since childhood? Scorpio spent a whole day making puppet models, and Scorpio sat obediently on the side, watching with his big round eyes. When Scorpio finished a model, Scorpio stretched out his pincers and clapped. It's really so easy. I wish everyone could raise a child like Scorpio does. In order to make Scorpion a model young man, Luo Sha personally wrote an ideological enlightenment book, The Will of Wind, in his spare time. The degree of brainwashing in it is definitely even greater than that of The Will of Fire. The Will of the Wind is absolutely lethal to children, and Scorpion is the best example. Don't ask why it's not The Will of Sand. The Will of Sand is for sand ninjas, and the Will of Wind is for training younger brothers. Luo Sha and Scorpion can recite the Will of the Wind by heart, and then instill the Will of Sand into Scorpion. After learning both the Will of the Wind and the Will of Sand, Scorpion becomes a 3-good child who loves Luo Sha, the village, and the Kazekage ninja who loves the village is a good ninja, and a younger brother who loves Luo Sha is a good younger brother. Luo Sha decided to do some ideological enlightenment work for his future younger brothers. Brother Luo Sha, I'm hungry. After assembling the 99th puppet model, the cute Scorpion walked in front of Luo Sha. Well, what does Scorpion want to eat? Luo Sha grabbed the scorpion and held it up, milk, in a big can and grape toast. Scorpion said happily. The clamp Scorpio crawled over and wanted some snacks too. Quack. The sleeping Pikachu woke up immediately when he heard the food, and opened his beak to wait for food. Gardevoir touched the round heads of Psyduck and Scorpio lovingly, then stood up and went into the kitchen to prepare food for everyone. The days of raising scorpions passed by uneventfully, with good news coming from the front line frequently. August of the 29th year of Sunagakure, the first month of the war, the Sand Village and the Leaf Village attacked the Rain Village on two fronts, intending to teach the Rain Village a profound lesson. As a result, the Leaf Ninjas suffered a huge setback, because the Leaf did not send a cage-level strongman to take charge, and the Leaf Ninja army was almost killed by the Salamander Hanzo, until the arrival of Shimura Danzo stabilized the situation. When Hanzo Salamander saw that the largest ninja village, Konoha, was at such a low level, he suddenly became full of confidence and planned to use the same trick to defeat the Sand Village ninja army. Salamander Hanzo, I'm going to beat 10 of them. As a result, Hanzo of the Salamander met Xiao. Both of them were masters of poison and both were cage-level fighters. The two fought fiercely, and the ninjas of both countries ran far away, fearing that they would be accidentally injured and poisoned to death if they ran too late. The battle between the Hidden Rain Village and the Hidden Sand Village became a personal show for Xiao and Salamander Hanzo. The air of the battlefield was filled with poisonous gas, and no ninja dared to approach. The two of them fought each other every day and every 3 days, and the stalemate lasted for a month, with neither of them being able to do anything to the other. The stalemate between Sand Village and Rain Village gave Konoha some time to buffer. Konoha waited for the arrival of reinforcements and directly entered the heart of the Rain country, intending to go straight into the Rain Village and force it to surrender. Old puppet woman, how about we stop fighting now? It will not benefit either of us if we continue dragging it on. Hanzo of the Salamander, who was held back by the Sand Village, had no choice but to plan to negotiate peace with Xiao. Humph, old man with a snorkel, you said ceasefire? But right now, your Rain Village is in a more urgent situation. In 2 days, I'm afraid that the Rain Village headquarters will be breached by Konoha. Xiao didn't want the fruits of the victory to be stolen by Konoha, but she couldn't let the Hidden Rain Village go so easily. So what do you want to do? If I can't get back, the worst that can happen is that I will surrender to Konoha directly and join forces with Konoha to attack your Sand Village. Hanzo of the Salamander threatened. Konoha is not a fool. How could it be used as a sword by you? Besides, if the Hidden Rain Village and Konoha Village form an alliance, the one with the most casualties will definitely be you, the Hidden Rain Village. Even though the situation that Hanzo of the Salamander said was indeed possible, Xiao was not at all afraid. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that the Hidden Rock Village and the Hidden Cloud Village are ready to make a move and are gathering their forces to participate in the war. If the Hidden Rain Village really forms an alliance with Konoha, then the Hidden Rain Village will probably have to accompany Konoha to fight against the 3 major ninja villages. Why don't we each take a step back and negotiate peace? When the Sand Village and Konoha go to war, I, a Megacure, will stand on your side. Hanzo of the Salamander said anxiously. The current situation is too unfavorable for a Megacure, and he has no time to drag it on any longer. Okay, then let's have a truce. Xiao pondered for a moment and agreed to Hanzo's proposal. In fact, Xiao originally planned to let Hanzo of the Salamander go back and let a Megacure consume Konoha's manpower first. When the two sides had fought almost enough, Sunagakure would attack Konoha. Unexpectedly, there was an unexpected surprise. The Sand Village picked up an ally for free. Although the ninjas of the Rain Village were not very good, they could not withstand the AoE of a cage-level strongman. The ninjas watching from a distance felt a little sorry when the battle stopped. Witnessing the cage-level battle with their own eyes, especially the special effects battle between the Salamander and the Chikamatsu Teninchu, the visual impact was so shocking and exciting that I almost wanted to grab some popcorn. On September 29th, the 9th year of Sand Village and a Megacure ceased hostilities. Hanzo Salamander led the ninja troops to return to Megacure Village urgently to resist Konoha's immoral aggression. The Megacure ninjas were no match for the Konoha ninjas and were beaten back step by step. Seeing this, Hanzo released his summon beast, the Samshoku Ibuki. At the same time, Hanzo took off his mask, and the man and the beast began to release poison continuously. Inobu released the poison gas that had been accumulated for a long time all at once. The large-scale poison mist attack caused heavy losses to the unprepared Konoha ninjas. Only more than 5,000 of the 1,500 Konoha ninjas survived. Danzo was held back by Hanzo and was unable to release a large-scale wind escape technique. He could only watch Inobu poison the Konoha ninjas to death. Danzo was so angry that he opened the microphone passionately, using all the curse words he could in his life. Hanzo of the Salamander was so angry that his face turned red. He couldn't beat Danzo in a verbal battle, so he just said, "You are nothing but a wild dog tamed by Sarutobi," and completed the winning move. The battle between Konoha and a Megacure ended with a Megacure's victory. After this battle, Konoha was severely damaged and withdrew from the heart of the Rain Country. Land of Fire, Konoha Village, Hokage Building. What is Danzo doing? Damn, he can't even take over the small Rain Village? Is Hanzo of the Salamander really that powerful? Danzo is a cage-level fighter. Mito Katoen said angrily as he looked at the battle report. Hanzo of the Salamander is known as the demigod of the ninja world, so it is understandable that Danzo cannot defeat him. Menayan, go and call Tsunade and the others. The strongest Hokage, the brainwashing master, the great and glorious Sarutobi Hiruzen, smoked his pipe to calm his heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen did care about the war situation, but he cared more about the position of Hokage under his butt. If the war failed, Sarutobi Hiruzen, as the Hokage, would be blamed, and he had to take countermeasures quickly. Sarutobi Hiruzen has been so worried these days that even his crystal ball is of no use. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is not yet old, still has some courage and will not blindly tolerate provocations from other ninja villages. This war must be won at all costs. Konoha sent out 1 ninjas, and most of the Senju clan members were also on the list of participants, including Tsunade and Naoki. The Senju clan was willing to give everything for the village, accepted Konoha's dispatch and went to the battlefield in the Rain Country. After World War II, the last glory of the Senju clan will no longer exist, and the word Senju will gradually disappear from the mouths of the villagers of Konoha. Only historical monuments record their great achievements. Chapter 34, The Hidden Whirlpool Village. On September 29, the 9th year of Tsunagakure, Konoha sent 19 ninjas to join the war. Danzo was transferred back to the village with a transfer order, and Hatake Tsukumo was appointed as the new commander-in-chief. However, just as Konoha was getting ready to counterattack a Megacure, a battle broke out in the Land of Birds. The cunning Inoki did not declare war on Konoha Village, but declared war on Sand Village, demanding that Sand Village hand over information and technology related to elves. Inoki sent 1 ninja troops to the Land of Birds, ready to attack Tsunagakure at any time. In Inoki's opinion, the Sand Village is stuck in the battlefield in the Rain Country and would never dare to go to war with the Iwagakure village again. The Sand Village is not Konoha. It is well known in the ninja world that it is extremely poor. Even if it has made money in the past 2 years, it does not have enough time to expand its military on a large scale. Inoki feels that he has a sure win, the advantage is in his hand. What Inoki didn't expect was that Tsunagakure and Omegakure had already negotiated peace. At that time, the scene of the negotiation was surrounded by poisonous gas, and only Xiao and Salamander Hanzo were negotiating, and the news did not spread at all. Xiao turned her guns around with 5,000 ninja troops and came to the Land of Birds to confront the Iwagakure village. During the month-long war between Sand Village and Omegakure, only Xiao and Hanzo were fighting. Both of them loved their soldiers like their own sons, and they tacitly did not expand the circle of battle to poison the other side's subordinates. Therefore, tens of thousands of ninjas were just onlookers, and Sand Village and Omegakure did not lose a single soldier during the month-long war. Inoki, actors, there are 2 actors here. No, it's a group of actors. How can you fight for a month without a single soldier dying? Xiao came to the Land of Birds with the same military configuration. Thinking about how to fight the ninjas of the Iwagakure village in order to minimize the losses was a direct poisoning or poisoning to death. Inoki felt that he was in a safe position, but being cautious, he still sent Bakuten Karu as the commander-in-chief of the Iwagakure Ninja Army. Kari, a famous elite Jonin of the Iwagakure village, possesses the Kekkaikage and explosion release and is the captain of the Iwagakure elite blasting team. His attack power alone has reached the level of Kage. If Luo Sha is present, he will be given the hunting LV70.99 tag. Finally, the Sand Village and the Iwagakure village met in the Land of Birds. Xiao discovered that the Iwagakure had no real intention of attacking. Both sides restrained themselves and did not take action, But let the ninjas of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs go first. When Inoki received the news, he was dumbfounded. Why did Xiao withdraw from the battlefield in the Land of Rain? Did the Sand Village not attack Konoha anymore? When the battle report from the Rain Country battlefield arrived, Inoki felt incredible at Konoha's poor performance. Just when the ninjas in the Rain Country battlefield were fighting to the death and the ninjas in the Bird Country battlefield were spitting foul language, the Mist Village launched a sneak attack. Karula also received the news that Konoha suffered a Waterloo in the Land of Rain, and began to make moves. However, Karula did not choose to attack Konoha, but instead sent a force led by the 7 ninja swordsmen to attack the hidden Taborum village on September 29, the 9th year of Sand Village. The Land of Whirlpools was plunged into war, and the third battlefield was opened. The Uzumaki clan struggled to survive with the help of powerful sealing techniques and sent people to Konoha for help. After receiving the news from the Land of Whirlpools, the 3 major ninja villages of Sand Village, Iwagakure, and Kumagakure began to condemn the unjust behavior of the Mist Village together, and at the same time urgently sent troops to the Whirlpool village. The ninjas who were confronting each other in the Land of Birds received news from the village. The Sand Village and the Iwagakure temporarily shook hands and made peace, and went to the Whirlpool village together. Along the way, Xiao and Carrie discussed how to divide the hidden Whirlpool village. The two reached a consensus and completed the distribution of benefits. Everyone made a copy of the sealing technique, and the property was divided equally among everyone. The 4 major ninja villages simultaneously attacked the hidden Whirlpool village, a unique favor in the ninja world, and the Uzumaki clan really gained face but lost their lives. The hidden Whirlpool village, do you want this favor? When the Konoha village received the news, it was filled with dark clouds. Land of Fire, Konoha village, Hokage building. The Hokage's top F4 held a meeting to discuss whether to reinforce the hidden Whirlpool village. According to intelligence, the hidden Whirlpool village has been targeted by the Mist Ninja, the Rock Ninja, the Sand Ninja, and the Cloud Ninja. The hidden Whirlpool village is doomed. Rather than letting others take advantage of it, it is better to. Thinking of the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique, Danzo's eyes lit up and a different idea arose in Danzo's mind. Hiruzen, the dead Uzumaki clan are Konoha's good allies, and the living ones are a treasure trove. There's no telling when the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique will be acquired by other ninja villages. Since the Uzumaki clan did not join Konoha back then, it's even more impossible to ask them to join Konoha now. Everything is for Konoha, so that Konoha can always be ahead of other ninja villages in sealing techniques. Hiruzen, we must be a villain, everyone. Presence was his own, so Danzo spoke his mind without hesitation. Who knows if the allies who don't join Konoha will become enemies in the future? Let's just let them fulfill their responsibilities as allies now while they are still allies. Midman and echoed, Hiruzen, the hidden Whirlpool village is now doomed. Let's take this opportunity to join in and divide them up. Danzo's straightforward and bold statement scared Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't say anything. He lowered his head and continued to smoke. 10 minutes later, the entire Hokage office was filled with smoke, and Sarutobi Hiruzen finally raised his head. The hidden Whirlpool village is Konoha's ally, and Konoha cannot do anything that would disappoint others. Let's not mention this matter again. I will never agree to it. Danzo, for the sake of your contribution to Konoha, I will pretend that this matter never happened. However, as a punishment, you will take the people of the route to support the Whirlpool country. Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated for a moment, but finally agreed to Danzo's proposal. However, he couldn't say this out loud, as he was a Hokage and would not leave any room for him to use his words against him like Danzo did. Danzo and the other two looked at each other as they listened to Sarutobi Hiruzen's words. HMPH, Hiruzen, your hesitation and indecision do not deserve your title of ninja hero. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen agreed, Danzo was very disdainful of Sarutobi Hiruzen's behavior of daring to do but not to take responsibility, and looked at him with sarcasm. Enough, Danzo, I am the Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face turned dark and he glared at Danzo. Hiruzen, you will regret this. Danzo slammed the door and walked out. Before leaving, Danzo still performed the daily classic quotes. On October 29th, the 10th year of Sand Village, the ninja armies of Sand Village, Iwagakure, and Kumagakure arrived at the battlefield of Whirlpool Country one after another and joined forces with Karigakure. Faced with the aggressive Three Kingdoms ninjas, Karigakure wisely chose to share the benefits facing the aggressive Shikoku ninjas. The Uzumaki clan wisely. Where are the Konoha ninjas? Konoha is obviously closer to the Land of Whirlpools, So why haven't they come yet? The Uzumaki clan fought desperately, hoping for support that was doomed to never come. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, The Destruction of the Hidden Whirlpool Village. On the day after the meeting of the 4 major ninja villages, the Battle of Whirlpool Village began. Outside, countless members of the Uzumaki clan were fighting desperately with the ninjas from the 4 major ninja villages, and only a few old, weak and sick were left in the clan. Don't worry, Kushina. We are allies of Konoha, and we will definitely get support from Konoha. An old man kindly ruffled Kushina Uzumaki's hair and comforted her. How long will it take for the people from Konoha to arrive? Kushina asked puzzledly. It should be soon, the old man said calmly, but Uzumaki Kushina didn't notice that a hint of doubt flashed across the old man's eyes. Logically speaking, Konoha's support team should have arrived long ago, and the Uzumaki clan's call for help has been passed on for a long time, so why haven't they been seen yet? The old man did not think in the direction of betrayal. In the eyes of the Uzumaki clan, Uzumaki Mito was the wife of the first Hokage of Konoha. She had a respected status in Konoha and was highly respected. The Uzumaki and Konoha were not only allies, but also relatives by marriage. It was impossible for Konoha to sit idly by and watch them. However, the stupid Uzumaki ninjas were still fighting desperately. If they were a little smarter and surrendered directly, perhaps this tragedy of genocide would not have happened. Danzo, who was hiding at the edge of the hidden Whirlpool village, saw the fierce fighting between the Shikoku ninjas and the Uzumaki clan, and immediately took action. Get started. With Danzo's order, all the root ninjas put on the forward protectors from other ninja villages and instantly began the performance. The Uzumaki clan is indeed a bunch of brainless fools. Kill me. Stop talking nonsense and kill them all. The ninjas joined the genocide of the Uzumaki clan. The sounds of weeping and shouting could be clearly heard in every corner of the Uzumaki clan. When the Uzumaki members who were fighting hard outside heard the noise within the tribe, their expressions changed instantly. No. Something happened within the clan. Damn it, these beasts. Why haven't the people from Konoha arrived yet? When the ninjas from the 4 major ninja villages who were fighting fiercely with the Uzumaki clan saw this situation, a hint of joy flashed across their faces, but they all looked at the people from other ninja villages calmly. Which village did this? Is it so wicked? No, they had to hurry up, otherwise it would be too late and all the good things inside might be taken away. The ninjas from the 4 major ninja villages seemed to be energized and launched even more fierce attacks. The members of the Uzumaki clan were all stubborn and continued to fight desperately. The hidden Whirlpool village was almost defeated on the front battlefield, and was attacked by Konoha in the rear, so it was impossible to turn the situation around. As the princess of the hidden Whirlpool village, Kushina was facing certain death. When the root appeared, she was sent into a secret passage to escape. Kushina, you are the last hope of the hidden Whirlpool village, run away. The old man pushed Kushina into the secret passage and prepared to close it, but, no buts. Go to Konoha. People from the 4 major ninja villages have already invaded. Konoha is the only place in the entire ninja world where you can rest. Mito-sama is in Konoha and will never let you suffer any injustice. Quickly, run. My old bones can't walk far. I might as well buy you some time. Kushina Uzumaki was pushed into the secret passage. While running, she looked back at the old man who was desperately buying time for her, and tears burst out like a flood. Keep running as far as you can. Run to Konoha, it will be safe once you reach Konoha. This was Uzumaki Kushina's only thought at the moment. Looking at the closed secret passage, the old man smiled with relief, and he straightened his hunched back. A sharp light flashed in his cloudy eyes, and he turned around and looked at the root ninjas who were wreaking havoc on the village. I'm going to fight you, King Kong Blockade. Before he died, the old man replaced 3 root ninjas, and his body fell down with a bang. He lay on the ground, staring at the blue sky, tears streaming down his face, and he died with his eyes open. Just when the root ninjas were slaughtering indiscriminately in the hidden Whirlpool village, Xiao and the Hidden Sands Village F4 appeared dressed in Akatsuki costumes. Slow King and the 5 of them teleported instantly and arrived inside the Hidden Whirlpool Village. Luo Sha knew that the biggest beneficiary of the destruction of the Hidden Whirlpool Village in the original work was Konoha, so he had already prepared for this. Luo Sha and his 4 companions sneaked out of the village and came to the Whirlpool country to meet up with Xiao, and they have been waiting for the opportunity. You know, if Xiao appeared on the front battlefield, the Hidden Whirlpool Village would have been breached long ago. The 5 of them released their spirits and began to slaughter the root ninjas. Danzo and Xiao encountered them head-on, while the root ninjas were crushed by Rasa and his 4 companions. Not to mention Rasa, Xiao Ai alone could have killed them all. After the 4 of them dealt with the root ninjas, they immediately searched for the sealing techniques and treasures of the Hidden Whirlpool Village and looted the village's treasure house. Especially infants and young children, they are the most precious treasures of the Hidden Turtle Village. When the sun sets, the ground is stained with blood and the sounds of fighting end. After the looting, Luo Sha and his 4 companions come to Xiao, and Slow King teleports away from the Hidden Whirlpool Village. Danzo looked at the 5 people who were leaving, knowing that it would be too late if they didn't leave now, so he also evacuated urgently. Danzo naturally recognized Xiao, her puppetry was too obvious. The victory of this battle was stolen, and the root suffered heavy losses. Danzo wanted to destroy the Sands Village at this time. But he was a ninja from Konoha, so he couldn't say it openly. If other ninja villages knew that Konoha didn't support the Hidden Whirlpool Village, but came to steal the sealing technique, Konoha would be condemned by thousands of people. At this moment, Danzo was like a mute eating bitter herbs, unable to express his pain. After Xiao, Rasa and the other 3 left the Hidden Whirlpool Village, they immediately separated. Rasa and his 3 companions happily returned to the Sands Village with 17 children under the age of 3 and many sealing techniques, while Xiao returned to the ninja army without anyone noticing. Seeing Xiao coming back, Leon, who used the transformation technique to impersonate Xiao, breathed a sigh of relief. The armies of the 4 major ninja villages entered the Hidden Whirlpool Village and saw corpses all over the ground and an empty treasure house. What was even more puzzling was that some of the corpses were wearing the ninja forward guards of the 4 ninja villages. No, why is there no forward protector for Konoha ninja? After some reasoning by the famous detective, all the accusations were directed at Konoha. Good man, I didn't expect that you, Konoha, are more shameless than us. The 4 major ninja villages united as one to condemn Konoha's immoral behavior of stealing homes. The Konoha Ministry of Foreign Affairs was once again besieged by the 4 major ninja villages. This matter is of no trivial matter. Konoha has directly robbed 4 ninja villages of important spoils. If it does not give an explanation, it will really be besieged. Sarutobi Hirozen looked at the useless Danzo and felt a splitting headache. He didn't even have the mood to smoke. Konoha lost both the lady and the troops in this operation. The only gain was Uzumaki Kushina, who came to Konoha village by herself. The Hidden Mist village contributed the most this time, but gained nothing. The 3rd Mizukage directly ordered the 7 ninja swordsmen to lead the army to the border of the Land of Fire. Seeing Kurigakure's actions, the other 3 ninja villages also tacitly deployed troops on the border of the Land of Fire. Seeing the sudden change in the situation in the ninja world, the Hidden Rain village gained confidence and fought more fiercely with Konoha. The Sand village is full of grease. Konoha not only stole the glorious spoils of the 4 major ninja villages, but also tarnished the trust between the allies. They are shameless thieves and insidious villains. Their behavior is really disgusting. The oppressed ninjas united and sounded the horn of charging towards Konoha. Chapter 36, War, Rayquaza. Konoha had no way to defend itself, but it would never admit it. Moreover, although Konoha sent Danzo, he really didn't get any benefit. Mew Yi, I didn't, don't talk nonsense. It wasn't me. Slander, this is slander. Faced with Konoha's denial, it was not the Hidden Mist village but the Hidden Cloud village that first declared war on Konoha. The 3rd Raikage, Xiao Ai, was a straightforward man with a hot temper. Faced with Konoha's hypocritical rhetoric, he almost vomited his overnight meal out of nausea. Xiao Ai directly ordered a war. This scene did not appear in the original novel, because when Rasa, the butterfly, flapped its wings, the Second Ninja World War was already rushing towards an unknown direction. Konoha had no choice but to send out 8,000 ninjas to fight, with Narukajin as the general commander. Including the 5,000 ninjas and 10,000 ninjas sent to the Rain Country battlefield, Konoha had already sent out 23,000 ninjas. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen not only had to face the relentless pressure from other ninja villages, but also had another trouble waiting for him to solve. Uzumaki Mito really wanted to save the hidden Whirlpool village, but Konoha was in a state of war, and coupled with a defeat on the front line, Uzumaki Mito did not negotiate with Sarutobi Hiruzen to ask Konoha to send troops to provide assistance. It is true that Uzumaki Mito is more inclined towards Konoha at this time, but Uzumaki Mito really did not expect that Konoha not only did not help, but was also the executioner. After Uzumaki Mito got the news, he went directly to the Hokage building to visit. In the Hokage's office, Uzumaki Mito sat on a wooden chair, her eyes as calm as the abyss. Her fingers gently stroked the wood grain of the table, as if looking for some rhythm. Every touch carried a heavy thought. Monkey, I know that Konoha is in a precarious situation now, so I did not force you to send troops to aid the hidden Uzumaki village. Now that the Uzumaki clan is in name only, I will take Kushina in and raise her as the next generation of Jinchuriki. Uzumaki Mito said calmly. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat opposite Uzumaki Mito. He spoke slowly. Mito-sama, don't worry, Kushina is the most suitable one for you. Her talent and potential are enough to become the best candidate for the next generation of Jinchuriki. I believe in Tobirama's vision. He chose you as Konoha's third Hokage because he saw your ability and quality. Uzumaki Mito continued, I hope you can stay true to your original aspiration and put the interests of the village first. I will not pursue the matter of the hidden Whirlpool village, no matter what role Konoha played in it. It's just, there are only 85 people left in the Senju clan. They are the foundation and pride of our Konoha village, and they cannot withstand the turmoil of war. There was helplessness and sadness in her words. She knew that the former glory of the Senju clan was gone forever, but she still hoped that the Senju clan could retain some vitality. Of course, the Senju clan is one of the two major ninja clans that founded Konoha. Their population is small now, and there really shouldn't be any more casualties. Sarutobi Hiruzen agreed to Uzumaki Mito's conditions. Senju Tobirama made the Senju clan integrate into the civilian class, retaining only the direct descendants and some old people who were unwilling to leave, causing the population of the Senju clan to drop sharply. If another war were to happen, I'm afraid the Senju clan would exist in name only. After getting the desired result, Uzumaki Mito stood up and left. Regarding the matter of the hidden Whirlpool village, Uzumaki Mito knew that the matter was done, and settling accounts with Sarutobi Hiruzen would only make the situation in Konoha worse. He only made a vague suggestion and let the Senju clan rest and recuperate. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat quietly alone, gently picked up his pipe and took a deep puff. Beneath his seemingly calm face, he actually hid a heart that had been corrupted and tainted by power beyond all recognition. Konoha was fighting fiercely with a Megacure and Kumagakure. Rasa thought that Iwagakure and Kurigakure would not be able to resist Konoha, but the development of things is always full of drama. The bloodline family of the Hidden Mist village and the third Mizukage were about to fall out, and it had reached the point where they were incompatible. The Hidden Mist village was in chaos, so how could it have the time to participate in the war in the ninja world? As for the Iwagakure village, Inoki did not forget his original intention and continued to send troops to the Land of Birds to confront the Sand Village, forcing the Sand Village to hand over relevant information and technology about the elves. Inoki's calculations were working well. Although Konoha was fighting on two fronts, it still had some strength. It would be better to force Tsunagakure to get the benefits first, and then when Konoha's strength was almost exhausted, Iwagakure would attack Konoha. Cage-level fighters are relatively scarce in the Iwagakure village, but this problem has not been exposed at this time because the younger generations of each village have not grown up yet at this time. The Iwagakure village was the ninja village with the largest number of ninjas, with a total of 50,000 ninjas. The Iwagakure village had always been competing with the Kumagakure village for the second place. Inoki, the Sand Village has only been around for 2 years. Do they really think they can still trample on the head of the Iwagakure village? Full of confidence, Inoki led the Iwagakure village to launch a war against the Sand Village and open up the battlefield in the Land of Birds. Shagu, who was enjoying the show, suddenly turned grim and said, Inoki, who are you looking down on, old man? With a wave of his hand, Shagu sent an additional 10,000 ninjas to Xiao. The ninjas from the Sand Village and the Iwagakure village began to confront each other in the Land of Birds on October 29th, the 10th year of Sand Village. The Sand Village and the Iwagakure village officially went to war. The turmoil in the ninja world had nothing to do with Rasa, who was ordered by Shaku not to leave the village at this time. Luo Sha rubbed his hands excitedly. Although his income was reduced due to the war, He still managed to collect 400 million elf coins in 2 months. Together with the original 200 million elf coins and % off coupons, he could exchange them for red elf eggs. Luo Sha has currently unlocked quite a few achievements, but they are all small achievements obtained by training elves, with average rewards, and he doesn't know when he will be able to get the next discount coupon. I can't afford to change the orange habitat and the red habitat, so I can only change an elf to make ends meet. Luo Sha bought the elf eggs and started to choose the elves in terms of compatibility. Groudon is undoubtedly a good choice, but Rosa really likes Rayquaza. Rayquaza has the appearance of an oriental dragon. As a Chinese in his previous life, Luo Sha was immediately attracted to it and clicked to confirm. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining one Rayquaza Pokemon egg, red. The long-lost Xiao Ai is online again. Luo Sha took out the elf egg from the system space. The elf egg was white in color with green lines surrounding the surface. Luo Sha picked it up skillfully and waited for Rayquaza to break out of the shell. 5 minutes later, the eggshell began to glow and cracks began to appear on the top. Luo Sha observed carefully and found that it seemed no different from the birth of an ordinary elf. A 50-centimeter green caterpillar appeared in front of Luo Sha, but this green caterpillar was a mutant and looked more unique. The baby Rayquaza was born with the inheritance of a divine beast, with noble genes in his blood. He raised his head and howled, thinking he was cool. Quite cute. Listen to this little baby voice. It turns out this is how a baby dragon who can't roar yet calls out. Li Kuang howled and felt hungry in his stomach. He began to gnaw on the eggshell, chewing it very quickly. This familiar sense of deja vu reminded Luo Sha of Yukira. Luo Sha touched the little dragon head of Rayquaza. Rayquaza looked up at Luo Sha and continued to eat. Rayquaza, Daddy, you are not allowed to touch my head, or the dragon will not grow tall. Luo Sha seemed to understand Rayquaza's eyes inexplicably. Then, Luo Sha opened the Pokemon interface of Rayquaza. Name, Rayquaza. Gender, none. Attribute, dragon. Flying feature, airlock. All weather effects disappear. Level, LV1, individual, 6 volt, HP 31, attack 31, defense 31, special attack 31, special defense 31, speed 31, skills, horrible face, tornado, primal power, air blade. There was movement on the system's achievement panel again. Luo Sha clicked on it, and sure enough, another achievement was lit up. God of the Sky, those who are recognized by Rayquaza receive the blessing of the sky. Reward, the finishing touch. Chapter 37, War, Shukaku's new home. Finishing touch is a skill, but it requires the cooperation of the contractor to allow Rayquaza to mega evolve, similar to Bond evolution. Luo Sha received the reward and put Rayquaza into the Pokeball. However, Rayquaza escaped from the Pokeball again and hung around Luo Sha's neck. Wow, don't you want to stay in the Pokeball? Rayquaza nodded his head, wrapped himself around Luo Sha and began to sleep. A cool touch came from the neck. Little Li Kongza had not grown scales yet, and its body was soft, feeling very similar to that of a snake. Luo Sha has 10 baby elves, including the naughty Yukira, the quiet Shawanzi, the shy Huhu, the hard-working screw hamster, the cool iron dumbbell, the Urhel rock dog, the silly Siddiq, the clever mosquito repellent, the scheming Ghastly, and the well-behaved Ralph, but none of them are as clingy as this baby dragon, the forgotten Tapumu. Luo Sha began his ordinary life of raising a dragon. Rayquaza grew very fast, changing every day. In just 1 week, it was already 1 meter long. It could not be used as a scarf and could only be wrapped around Luo Sha. March 29th, the 11th year of Tsunagakure. After more than a month of war, Konoha stabilized the situation on the battlefield of the Land of Rain. Hatake Sakumo slashed left and right, beating the rain ninjas as easily as chopping melons and vegetables, leaving them with psychological trauma. Konoha Ken Wang, Fruit Match 3 veteran fan. Hatake Sakumo, can you make it a little more difficult? That's it? That's it. Konoha had long been prepared for the poison of Salamander Hanzo. With a gas mask on and the antidote prepared by Tsunade, Salamander Hanzo was able to suppress his magic. Salamander Hanzo cannot have an AoE effect and cannot use his ultimate to clear out the minions. If Hanzo of the Salamander wants to win, he can only fight Hatake Sakumo in a one-on-one duel and defeat him completely. However, after a fierce battle, Salamander Hanzo was at a disadvantage in close combat and could only fight from a distance to consume the enemy's energy and hold back Hatake Sakumo to prevent him from attacking others. The two were evenly matched, and Hatake Sakumo earned the reputation of Konoha White Fang and became a recognized cage-level powerhouse. As for the battlefield of the Land of Hot Springs, Kumagakure and Konoha were evenly matched, and entered a tug-of-war. Although Lord Nabokage was defeated in the Land of Rain and the Land of Whirlpools, he still had some strength and was one of the cage-level fighters. If Kumagakure did not send out Ob, it would be difficult to break through Konoha's defenses. The third battlefield was the Bird Country battlefield between Tsunagakure and Iwagakure. Although Tsunagakure had 5,000 fewer ninjas than Iwagakure, they had the help of elves. The number of Tsunagakure ninjas plus elves was equivalent to 30,000 combat power. Tsunagakure suppressed Iwagakure throughout the battle and suffered less losses. In addition, Iwagakure's strongest demolition team was directly restrained by the Steelix troops. The Iwagakure ninjas, who had played all their cards, fell into passive position, but Carrie had no way to deal with it because Carrie was no match for Xiao at all. Xiao is obviously stronger than Carrie. Xiao is at the cage level, while Carrie has not yet reached the cage level. Facing Xiao's Chikamatsu 10, the 7 elite Jonin from Carrie and Iwagakure had to work together to barely stop them. Xiao's Slowking fought against 5 elite Jonin alone, became the coolest Pokemon on the battlefield, and earned the title of Blue-Eyed Hippopotamus. Knowing his title, Slowking protested strongly and angrily hung up the Iwagakure ninja and beat him. King Dai, you are the hippopotamus, your whole family are hippos. The 5 unlucky guys who were beaten. Even worse, the hippopotamus killed people. In the final battle, Xiao used the S-level forbidden technique, puppetry, manipulation, and human samurai, causing 10 elite Jonin to kill each other, and then cooperated with Slowking to capture Xiao alive. The Iwagakure ninja lost its chief commander and was in chaos. They were killed 7 times by the Sandagakure ninja and simply raised the white flag in surrender. After a month of fighting, the Sand Village suffered more than 3,600 ninja casualties, including more than 1,700 killed in battle. The Iwagakure suffered 9,500 ninja casualties, including more than 5,000 killed in battle. Xiao became famous in one battle and was even dubbed the strongest puppeteer and #1 female ninja. In this era, the cage level is recognized as the strongest combat power, and Xiao is also the only female ninja confirmed to have reached the cage level. Only Inoki in the Iwagakure village can deal with Xiao. Inoki is in trouble. He didn't expect that the Sand Village, which looks honest and easy to bully, is hiding so deeply. In excitement, Inoki twisted his waist and was admitted to the hospital. It was impossible to fight. Not only was Kagakure captured alive, but Iwagakure also had more than 10,000 prisoners in the hands of Tsunagakure. What Inoki was considering now was how much it would cost to buy the prisoners back. Tsunagakure and Iwagakure entered the negotiation stage. The battle in the Bird Country battlefield ended after a month, and Tsunagakure won. This result shocked everyone. After a great battle, Iwagakure village was directly pulled down from the top 3 by Sand Village and became the 4th ninja village. This is not the worst. The worst thing is that Iwagakure's reputation plummeted. The powerful country that raised the white flag and surrendered in 1 month became the laughingstock of the ninja world. Like a French chicken from another world, the Sand Village went straight to 3rd place, only behind Konoha and Kumagakure. If Kumagakure didn't also have 2 cage-level people, Kumagakure would have been dethroned by the Sand Village. Karigakure did nothing and was immediately secured the position of the 5th ninja village. Karigakure, where are our brothers in Sand Village? How could you betray our revolutionary friendship? I am not afraid of my brothers living well, I am just afraid of my brothers driving a Land Rover. What is even worse is that before, there were friends in Karigakure who were at the bottom of the list, but now I am the only one in the village that is at the bottom of the list. The turmoil within Karigakure has come to a halt. The family faction and the Mizukage faction have made peace, preparing to clear the name of the village first before fighting internally. As for who Karigakure is going to attack, it is already very clear Konoha would never have imagined that the Hidden Mist village was preparing to attack the Land of Fire because of the war between Iwagakure and Sand Village, which had nothing to do with him. With the quick end of the Bird Country War, Konoha was the most panicked. Because the Iwagakure village attacked the Sand Village was forced to withdraw from the Rain Country battlefield. Now the Sand Village is very likely to come back. Konoha, flying to the Hidden Rock village, little brother, can you do it? March 29th, the 11th year of Tsunagakure Shagu, Luo Sha and Lai Fen came to Fenfu's residence. This time Shagu did not come to communicate with Shukaku, but to change new furniture for Shukaku. Luo Sha brought back a large number of books on sealing techniques from the Whirlpool country. At his old age, Li Feng was forced to study hard and master the Uzumaki clan's sealing techniques. There are two seal masters in the Sand Village, Xiao and Li Feng. Xiao went to the battlefield and had no time to learn the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique, so the important task had to be handed over to Li Feng. Li Feng has lost count of how many times he has collapsed in the past few days. The Uzumaki clan's sealing technique is extremely complicated. Li Feng, who is having a hard time learning it, has begun to doubt whether his attainments in the sealing technique are worthy of their reputation. Looking at the basket of books, Li Feng fell into silence. Li Feng, don't stop me, I want to jump off the building. Hey, I said I wanted to jump off the building, why didn't you stop me? Shagu, I'm used to it. Ebizo and Caltech said the same thing, and they are both still alive and well. Gale, Li Feng silently retracted his foot, sat down obediently and continued to study the sealing technique. In short, Li Feng finally learned the four-symbol seal, and Shagu immediately took Li Feng to find Shukaku. Luo Sha was just a spectator in the front row. Because of his limited energy, Luo Sha did not delve into the sealing technique, waiting for Li Feng to learn all the vortex sealing techniques and teach him. This is a good opportunity to observe how to seal the tailed beasts, and it is definitely not an opportunity to watch Shukaku make fun of himself. Shukaku, who was still sleeping in Bunfuku's body, was awakened by the unusual movement of the seal. Hey, old Kazekage, why are you here again? Shukaku, who thought he was going to be beaten again, immediately got up, put his hands on his waist and shouted in a stern voice. Well, it's been a long time since we last met. I missed you so much. I came here to check on you and see how you've been doing recently. Shagu imitated Rasa's tone and expression, looking at Shukaku jokingly. Huh? Cunning human, what evil plan are you up to? You still care about me. Do you think I'm as easily fooled as that idiot Jiu Lama? Hey, what are you doing, Shukaku? Felt the restraint on his body becoming stronger and stronger, and had a bad premonition, so he jumped up immediately. You live in such a simple house. I'm sure you'll like it if I renovate it for you. Why are you so ignorant that you have to go against the Sand Village? Wouldn't it be better to become an official tail beast? Look at Shigeaki Nanao, he's living such a comfortable life now. As Shagu finished speaking, the four-symbol seal completely covered the original Phantom 9 Dragon seal. Fuck you. Shukaku's words were cut off by the seal in the dark room. Shukaku's voice was completely cut off. The chatterbox Shukaku couldn't communicate with people, which was the biggest torture for him. Shukaku was angry for a while. Shukaku, I was wrong, old Kazekage, I am willing to serve the Sand Village. Let me out. Monk, can you hear me? Monk, no matter how Shukaku exchanges, people outside will have no idea. Luo Sha, how can you treat animals like this? This is abuse and violates the Animal Protection Act. Question mark. W. Chapter 38 Letting Go. Fanfu, you can go back to live in the Sand Village from now on. You don't have to stay here anymore. Shagu said to Fanfu. No need, Lord Fengying. I'm used to being alone and quiet, and I'm used to living here. Fanfu clasped his hands together, bowed to Shagu, and rejected Shagu's invitation. Okay, if you have any requests, you can tell the Anbu Ninja directly, and they will pass it on to me directly. Thank you, Master Kazekage. I am living a good life. However, Shukaku is not a bad person by nature. Does the village intend to keep it sealed like this from now on? Shukaku is an intelligent creature. It's not good to keep him locked up like this. Let's lock him up for 10 days or half a month and then talk to him and see if his attitude softens. I would like to thank Master Kazekage on behalf of Shukaku. What Finfuku didn't expect was that because of the war, Shagu had completely forgotten about this matter, and it was unknown when he would remember it and release Shukaku from the small dark room. Shukaku, on November 29th, the 11th year of Sand Village, Kirigakure declared war on Konoha and sent 30 troops to attack Konoha. Konoha was stunned. Before the Sand Village's ninja army arrived, the Kirigakure's ninja army arrived first. Sarutobi Hiruzen transferred Hatake Tsukumo from the Rain Country to fight against the Kirigakure village. The Rain Country was led by the three ninjas of prostitution, gambling and drug trafficking. The two negotiating parties in the Land of Birds had been arguing for more than 10 days and had yet to conclude their negotiations. Seeing the actions of the village of Kirigakure, the Sand Village and the Iwagakure village accelerated the negotiation process. Tsunagakure foreign minister so personally took the stage and vented all the anger he had recently received from Xiao Ai Wagakure negotiator benefit. You can negotiate, don't use force, you're so great to be an elite Jonin? You're bullying me, too much. Finally, after friendly negotiations between the two parties, the following terms were reached. 1. The Iwagakure village shall pay 2.5 million taels of silver to the Sanjakure village as compensation. 2. Allow goods from the Kingdom of Wind to flow into the market of the Kingdom of Earth. 3. The Land of Earth will exempt the goods of the Land of Wind from customs duties for 3 years. 4. Form a wartime military alliance. If any country is attacked, the other country needs to send troops to provide assistance. 5. Work together to attack the Fire Nation. On December 7, the 29th year of Tsunagakure, the combined forces of Tsunagakure and Iwagakure headed for the battlefield of Rain Country, and Konoha began a pleasant journey of 1 vs 4.5. Rain Country, how can I repair it? I am 1, not 0.5. Cyrillic letter deck. The Rain Country saw that it had become a 3-country battlefield, and in anger, it welcomed the coalition forces of Tsunagakure and Iwagakure. Hanzo Salamander was so worried that a few of his hair turned white. Konoha hadn't resolved the issue yet, and the Sand Village and Iwagakure villages got involved again. Although Sand Village and Iwagakure are fighting against Konoha, the battlefield is in the Land of Rain. Salamander Hanzo thought for a long time and finally made a decision that went against his ancestors. Release the water, latent shadow snake hands, fire. Release, big flame bullet, super. Strength, painful kick. The 3 ninjas of Konoha cooperated well and attacked Hanzo of the Salamander from 3 directions at the same time. Water. Instant body, Salamander. Hanzo avoided the siege of 3 people and immediately summoned Salamander Ibishi. Ibishi was experienced in combat, and he judged the situation of the battle the moment he appeared. He sprayed a poisonous mist that broke up the positions of the 3 ninjas. Fire release, exploding flame array, taking advantage of the gap when the 3 ninjas were dodging. Hanzo of the Salamander used his signature ninjutsu, and a large number of explosive tags flew directly from under Tsunade's feet and entangled Tsunade's legs. Tsunade has a special status among the 3 ninjas. As long as Tsunade is subdued, Konoha will definitely be cautious. What? A strong sense of danger surged in her heart, and Tsunade keenly felt a strange touch on her leg. She looked down and couldn't help but widen her eyes. Densely packed detonating tags, more and more detonating tags were attached to her calves. Tsunade's face turned pale as paper in an instant, and a layer of fine beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. She knew the power of the detonating tags very well. If she didn't deal with it in time, the consequences would be disastrous. Tsunade was dodging an Obu's attack when she was caught off guard by the detonating tag that suddenly wrapped around her. It was too late for her to protect herself. Ninjutsu, Needle Jizo. The bootlicker Jiraiya had been keeping an eye on Tsunade's situation, and the moment he saw the detonating tag he used ninjutsu to protect Tsunade. Bang! As the loud explosion sounded, Tsunade felt a pain from her leg. Fortunately, Jiraiya protected Tsunade in time and she was only slightly injured. Tsunade fell to the ground, and Orochimaru and Jiraiya immediately stood in front of Tsunade. Oh, what a deep friendship. Salamander Hanzo looked at the 3 people in front of him. They were indeed ninjas trained by Konoha village. They were so young, but they had already achieved such strength. Only those at the cage level can defeat the 3 ninjas of Konoha. Even an elite Jonin who has been through hundreds of battles and has rich experience will most likely die if he fights against them. Unfortunately, the opponent of the 3 ninjas at this time was precisely the cage-level strong man, the demigod of the ninja world, Hanzo of the Salamander. Salamander Hanzo did not kill Tsunade. The explosive fire ray just now only attacked Tsunade's calf. Even without defense, Tsunade's life would not be in danger. Tsunade was already injured and the Sannin were on the verge of failure, so Hanzo of the Salamander began his mission of letting the Sannin go. The silly Jiraiya looked at the goddess getting injured, his anger level skyrocketed, as if he had a buff, and he attacked Salamander Hanzo with all his might, and the fight ended in a 50-50 draw. The calm Orochimaru discovered a clue. It seemed that Hanzo of the Salamander was preparing a move. Salamander Hanzo, young man, I advise you to learn your lesson. If you continue like this, I will attack you with all my strength. Orochimaru grabbed Jiraiya in time, preventing him from being beaten up. The 2 sides fought to a draw and called off the battle. In the end, Hanzo of the Salamander gave the 3 of them the title of 3 ninjas. Hanzo made the 3 of them famous with the title of demigod of the ninja world. Now the three of them have the strength of a Lee-Chunin, and when combined they are strong enough to fight against a cage-level warrior. Hanzo has given Konoha enough face and done Konoha a good job. Never mind the life and death fights that took place before. Countries only talk about interests, not feelings. Faced with Hanzo's goodwill and given that Konoha was in such a difficult situation, Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally accepted Hanzo's kindness in the end. Before the coalition forces of Sand Village and Iwagakure arrived at the battlefield, the war between Konoha and Omegakure was declared over, ending with the defeat of the Rain Country. Hanzo urgently dispatched all the Omegakure ninjas to rescue the civilians injured in the war. At the same time, he evacuated the civilians who might be affected by the upcoming Three Kingdoms War, and began to gather his forces to save as many people as possible. On December 29, the 12th year of Sand Village, the Rain Country once again started a war. The protagonists of this war were Sand Village, Iwagakure and Konoha, and the Rain Village was hidden. Konoha began to fight on three fronts, and the three ninjas of pornography, gambling and drug trafficking continued to serve as the commander-in-chief of the Konoha ninja army in the battlefield of the Rain Country. The commander-in-chief of the Sand Village and Iwagakure ninja armies are still Xiao and Kari. The two sides have changed from enemies to teammates. Kari's mood has visibly improved and he enjoys everything he eats. As for the three ninjas of Konoha, the long-famous Karashi didn't take them seriously at all. They are just three juniors who have just gained a little fame, and it was a title given by Hanzo because of his leniency. Who are they to be ranked on the same level as me, Explosive Hunter? Kari challenged Orochimaru with full confidence. They were evenly matched. Kara started to lose the game and was almost knocked down by Orochimaru. Kari's mentality collapsed. Fortunately, Xiao defeated Tsunade and Jiraiya in the end, forcing Orochimaru to retreat. Otherwise Karashin would have been stepped on by Orochimaru to take the upper hand. In order to avoid disgrace to himself, Kari became a snake blower. Following the salamander Hanzo, Kari publicly acknowledged the title of the three ninjas, and when reporting to Unoki, he praised the three ninjas a lot. Kari, Lord Tsuchikage, they are really awesome. Look at my face, it is swollen and I can't even speak clearly. The three ninjas can fight against the demigods of the ninja world. Isn't it normal that I am not a match for Orochimaru? Even if there are three of me, I can't beat Hanzo. Unoki, got it, Konoha has three more S-ranked ninjas. Unoki was so envious that he almost cried. If it weren't for the need to maintain the dignity of the Tsuchikage. Chapter 39, Kokuzu and the Dream Demon. The war lasted for half a year, and the ninja world was in complete chaos. The five major countries were all in a state of war, and the fighting on the three battlefields was fierce. The ninjas fought to the death, and the foreign ministries of each village also had friendly exchanges on a daily basis. Konoha was still surrounded and scolded as usual, but the situation of Iwagakure was not much better. It's fine that Kumagakure and Mistgakure were unable to break through Konoha's defenses, but the coalition forces of Iwagakure and Tsunagakure were also dragged into the battlefield in Rain Country, which is simply too much. You have to know that Konoha is now fighting 1 against 4. On the battlefield in the Land of Rain, Sand Village at least had Xiao, a cage-level strong man, on the battlefield. Cloud Village and Mist Village could not attack, so they tacitly turned their guns and aimed at the Iwagakure village. What's the point of having so many people? You sent an elite Jonin as the commander-in-chief, but he was beaten by a junior. I feel ashamed. If you don't feel ashamed, the one that cursed the most was the Hidden Mist Village, because the Hidden Mist Village had now secured the position of 5th place and was determined to overthrow the Hidden Iwagakure village, which was 4th, and get rid of the title of the 5th ninja village. Kirigakure, as long as I become the 4th, I will stop fighting Muay. Is there such a good thing? In the war of public opinion in the ninja world, Iwagakure was besieged by Kirigakure, Kumagakure, and Konoha, while Sandagakure was left alone. Konoha was besieged by the 4 major ninja villages, while the smaller ninja villages were left alone. Half a year passed as the 5 villages continued to beat and scold each other. June 30th, Tsunagakure 6th year, Tsunagakure village, Master, I'm leaving the village and going to Lalan. There's special chakra energy there that may help Rayquaza grow. Luo Sha came to Feng Ying's office and applied to Shagu for permission to leave the village for the nth time. When Rayquaza heard that it could grow up, it roared excitedly, twisted its 5-meter-long body around, flew in front of Shaku, wrapped itself around Shaku's body, and showed an expectant look in its eyes. Luo Sha, things are not peaceful outside recently. I can allow you to leave the village, but you must promise not to go to the battlefield. Shagu looked at the two pairs of big, sparkling eyes in front of him, sighed, and agreed to Luo Sha's 99th application this month. No problem, I won't leave the Kingdom of Wind. I'll come back after I finish the matter in Laolan. Luo Sha excitedly pulled Rayquaza and left quickly, fearing that Shagu would go back on his word, come back and leave Sidik in the village. The child is not suitable to leave the village. What if he gets lost? Shagu grabbed Luo Sha's collar, but Sidik would run out of the Pokeball every day, sneak onto the street and go door to door to ask for food, and was finally found by the Anbu after being reminded by enthusiastic villagers. The sand village is too big, and Sidik's big head can't remember the way at all, but the amazing thing is that he can always find the residential area accurately, but can't find the way home. Well, I'll leave this child to you, master, to take care of. Luo Sha took out Sidik's Pokeball and put it in Shagu's hand, then turned around and ran away. Ever since they secretly went to the Yuzugakure village last time, the Sand Village F4 has been under house arrest. In order to leave the village, Luo Sha persuaded Shagu for half a year, and he tried everything, including crying, making a fuss, and even threatening to commit suicide, but he still couldn't get Shagu's approval. This time, Shagu finally agreed after much persuasion, and Luo Sha immediately ran away with his brothers. Shagu stared at Luo Sha's fast running back. He waved his hand, and two Anbu teams immediately followed Luo Sha's footsteps. Luo Sha quickly prepared everything, sent a message to Kokuzu, and set off for Laolan with his team members. During this period, Kokuzu was working hard to expand the market for money. Since there was already an elf habitat in the Bird Kingdom, Kokuzu's first stop was the Bird Kingdom, but what he didn't expect was that just as Kokuzu started his business of elf products, he was stopped by the nobles of the Bird Kingdom. If you want to do business in the Bird Kingdom, you need to hand over 8% of your profits. For Kokuzu, this is more painful than killing him. How can he tolerate this? Kokuzu started a killing spree on the spot, leaving many heads rolling. Kokuzu's name in the land of birds had become famous enough to stop children from crying at night. The nobles of the land of birds were furious and collectively put a bounty on Kokuzu, which rose all the way to 5,000 million taels. When Kokuzu saw this, he happily chopped himself off in exchange for the bounty, and exchanged it for 4 bounties at once, earning 4 million taels. Many nobles of the Bird Kingdom went bankrupt directly. Some nobles could not pay the bounty and were pursued by underground gold exchange offices, and were put on the gold exchange office's bounty list. Nobles, someone is cheating here, can't you see? How can anyone die 4 times? You are colluding to defraud money. Defraud money. I will sue you. Kokuzu happily accepted the bounty notice from the nobles of the Bird Kingdom and started another joyful massacre, collecting another wave of bounties. Your money is mine, and your life can be exchanged for money. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, Kokuzu seemed to have opened the door to a new world. Kokuzu suddenly became more motivated. This was an extremely good job. The resistance in the land of birds was gone, and Kokuzu successfully opened up the market in the land of birds in 3 months. Although most civilians could not afford Pokeballs, it still brought Luo Sha a net profit of 800 million taels per month. With Kokuzu splitting the difference, Luo Sha earned 640 million taels. The Kingdom of Birds is not like the Kingdom of Wind. The daimyo and Kazekage of the Kingdom of Wind are vigorously promoting the development of the elf industry. Almost all ninjas are equipped with elves, and the market is huge. If you want to tap into the market in the land of birds, you must first build a ninja village in the land of birds. This has been included in Luo Sha's plan. First, establish ninja villages in all small countries. Sunagakure will have absolute control over them. Then, establish an international organization. Luo Sha has already thought of the name. It will be called the Gale Federation, the British Empire, Little Britain, and, actually it is the Elf Alliance. This has to be done quietly after the war, and the shooting must be done secretly. As long as the plan succeeds, Konoha will be nothing more than a small Karami in the eyes of Sand Village. Therefore, Kokuzu becomes more and more important, and the premise of all this is that Kokuzu successfully establishes a Pokemon network. Rosa, Kokuzu is simply my sibling, my dearest friend, and my beloved brother. He is one of my wings. Now Kokuzu has gone to the Bear Country and followed the same method to make the Bear Country nobles follow the same path as the Bird Country nobles. Some nobles of the Bear Country were well informed and wisely defected to Kokuzu, which made Kokuzu feel regretful for a long time. Kokuzu, why don't you resist? Maybe you will succeed, With a good employee like Kakuzu, Luo Sha likes him more and more. If he could not defeat Kakuzu in single combat, Rosa would have accepted Kakuzu as his younger brother. But Kakuzu would be in Rosa's hands sooner or later. It just depends on when the author arranges it. After Kakuzu opened up the market in Bird Country, Rosa personally gave Kakuzu a blue dream demon egg. The appearance of the dream demon is full of mystery and weirdness. Its main colors are gray and dark green. Its hairstyle is like flames, its irises are red, and there is a string of conspicuous red beads hanging around its neck, which looks extremely cute. All in all, it fits Kakuzu's aesthetic very well. It only took 3 days for Kakuzu to go from being disdainful and disgusted to becoming a qualified nanny. Hey, stop sticking to me. Stop crying, it's annoying. Okay, is it okay that I was wrong? Stop crying, okay? Can you let me sleep? Facing the dream demon that had been crying for a whole day, Gyouto was helpless and put on a dead fish face. With no desire to live, the dream Pokemon has the insomnial trait and will not sleep at all. And due to the special nature of ghost Pokemon, crying for a whole day is not a big deal. At most, its energy will be consumed faster. Well, the little dream demon is a girl, and she's a crybaby. She hangs around Kakuzu every day, unwilling to leave for a moment, and even refuses to enter the Pokeball. The newborn dream demon baby regards Gyouto as his father, so it is normal for him to cling to him. It was hard for Kakuzu, but no matter how annoying the dream monster was, Kakuzu had no desire to attack it. Because this little guy was hatched from Kakuzu's hands, Kakuzu couldn't help but be a little accommodating. In the end, Kakuzu resigned himself to his fate and hugged the dream demon, coaxing the dream demon into happiness before falling asleep peacefully. Dream. The dream demon nestled quietly in Kakuzu's arms, rubbed him slowly, and happily closed his eyes to accompany Kakuzu. The next morning, Kakuzu, awakened by the cry of the dream demon, got up helplessly. Hey, the milk will be hot soon, don't cry. Kakuzu, who was promoted to father, held the little dream demon in his arms and rocked it gently, coaxing it. Looking at Kakuzu, who was busy making milk for the dream demon, Rosa was extremely satisfied. Rosa handed the new batch of goods to Kakuzu and left with peace of mind. Why is there no camera in the mall? I really want to record it. I didn't expect that Kakuzu also has a glorious side that radiates fatherly, maternal love. Please imagine this specific scene by yourself. Chapter 40. Lalin. The breeze blows and the yellow sand is everywhere. The boundless desert is like a golden ocean, shining brightly under the scorching sun, as if countless shining pearls are scattered on this vast land. The heat waves in the air are like smoke, fog, and distorted phantoms, making people feel as if they are in an illusory world. Suddenly, a group of young boys and girls riding on fire-breathing camels appeared from a distance. Each fire-breathing camel has a huge black parasol on its head. Luo Sha was slumped on the cushion of the fire-breathing camel, wearing sunglasses and slurping juice, while chatting with Gyouto and the other two. Zongaya is a little chatterbox who keeps talking all the way and is a great person to kill time with. The four of them were on their way to Lalin. Brother, are we really not going to the rain country? Xiao Ai asked Luo Sha excitedly. After becoming the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki, Xiao Ai was overwhelmed with confidence, especially after he learned the magnetic style, Giant God Soldier. Xiao Ai had long wanted to go to the battlefield to loosen up the muscles of the Konoha ninjas. Buscadora, it's all my credit. That's what a tough guy is like. Fight, and keep fighting. Let's go to Lalin first. If Rayquaza can absorb the dragon chakra, we will wait until Rayquaza has absorbed it before we set off for the rain country. If Rayquaza cannot absorb it, we will immediately go to the rain country. Luo Sha directly threw Shagu's warning behind his head. Now Luo Sha's team is strong enough to destroy a cage-level strongman. The only Super Shadow Master, Madara, is now on an oxygen tube to sustain his life, and the Konoha Dance King is already a thing of the past. The ninja world is so vast. Where can't you go? That's great. I can finally go to the battlefield and kill Konoha ninjas. I want to make the name of Scorch Release known throughout the ninja world. Yukang raised his fist and said happily, I have learned medical ninjutsu, so I will go to the logistics unit to help. Karula was quite helpless. She was not keen on fighting and became the medical ninja in the team. Karula is still at the level of a Chunin now, and with the help of the elves, he is at the level of a Jonin. It is still somewhat dangerous for him to go to the battlefield. The villain in Karula's heart cried and clenched his fists. Woohoo, damn it, I can't fight side by side with Luo Sha-kun. No, I must become stronger. As the sun and the moon rotated, the group of 4 arrived in Laolan safely 2 days later. Is this Laolan? It looks ordinary. Zhongmi looked at the land in front of him with no interest. Laolan is actually just a small town with a population of only a few thousand in the entire country. Its area is several times smaller than that of the Sand Village, and it is not as prosperous as the Sand Village. The people here live a simple and peaceful life, and their faces are filled with sincerity and kindness. The place of Laolan seems to be far away from the hustle and bustle of the world and the chaos of war. There are no battlefields with raging flames and smoke, only a harmonious and peaceful scene. The residents worked hard on this land and led a self-sufficient life, which was in stark contrast to the war-torn outside world. The Laolan before us is very different from the image in the original work, with tall towers and a strong sense of technology. Obviously, Unlushan has not yet arrived in Laolan. In the future, Naruto will probably travel back to 60 years ago from the 20th year of Sand Village, which is the 40th year of Sand Village. Unlushan traveled through time 6 years earlier than Naruto, which is the 34th year of Sunagakure. If the Sand Village took over the Dragon Chakra, would it change the course of history? Since Minato Namikaze did not seal the Dragon Vein, will Naruto and Unlushan still be able to travel through time and space in the future? If not, the closed loop of space and time will inevitably fall into chaos. Then there may be 2 results. One is the automatic correction of time and space, and the other is the emergence of parallel worlds with different development trajectories. If time and space are corrected, in the future Sunagakure will face the team led by Naruto and Minato Namikaze. But if a parallel world is derived, then Naruto will not be able to travel back. It would be a good idea to send the Sand Village ninja to station in Laolan to test it out and see what effect it will have. Luo Sha thought of a strategy and breathed a sigh of relief. I have a time traveler behind me. By the way, why hasn't my godfather sent me an email yet? The 4 of them arrived at the city gate, and Luo Sha took out a gold medal with a unique mark on it from his arms. This was the identity proof of the Sunagakure high-level officials. When the soldiers guarding the city saw the gold medal, they immediately saluted them respectfully and quickly reported the situation to the people in the city through the megaphone. After a while, the city gate slowly opened, making a dull sound. Luo Sha and his group walked straight into the town, and the gate behind them closed. Laolan is located in the Land of Wind, so naturally it knows about the Sand Village. Laolan dared not offend the Sand Village as a ninja village in the Kingdom of Wind. The Queen of Laolan personally came to the city gate to welcome Luo Sha and his 4 companions. Hello, fellow ninjas from Sunagakure. I am Anna, the Queen of Laolan. May I know why you are here, Queen? Anna walked towards the 4 people wearing a gorgeous and solemn dress. She has a tall and straight figure, an elegant temperament, and every detail shows her majesty and dignity as a queen. She personally welcomed Rasa and the other 3 to show her respect for the Sand Village. Queen Anna, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Rasa, and they are Xiao Ai, Karula, and Yukira. After Luo Sha introduced the 4 people, he continued, we heard that Laolan has a dragon vein. I wonder if we can let this little guy try to absorb the energy of the dragon vein. Of course, if you have any needs, you can raise them and we will definitely do our best. Luo Sha touched Rayquaza's head and directly stated his purpose. Luo Sha, the power of the dragon vein is extraordinary. Historically, only the Laolan royal family can control it, but it is limited to control. No one has ever been able to absorb the energy of the dragon vein. The energy of the dragon vein is too huge. If you absorb it, you will explode and die instantly, Queen Anna reminded kindly. Queen Anna, I know the situation of the dragon vein, but I still want to give it a try. I believe Rayquaza can do it, and I will bear all the consequences. Rayquaza is a sky Pokemon with the potential to become a god. The energy it contains is unimaginable. Rasa possesses the power of Takawa and can heal Rayquaza at any time if a problem occurs. Luo Sha can immediately put Rayquaza into the Pokeball to block the energy transmission of the dragon vein. I can agree to your request, but I have one unwelcome request. Although the people of Laolan live a stable life, they do not have enough defense force. I hope to get help from the Sand Village, and that the Sand Village can send ninjas to stay in Laolan permanently. Queen Anna hesitated and stated her demands. Of course, no problem. Luo Sha readily agreed. Sending Sand Ninja to station in Laolan was one of Luo Sha's plans now. Not only did they get the dragon vein for free, but Sand Village also got an extra share of Laolan's tasks. This is a win-win situation. Chapter 41, Rayquaza also has a cheat, Sarah. Then Queen Anna led the 4 people into a hidden secret passage. This secret passage seemed to have no end, extending downwards, deep and bottomless. The light in the secret passage was dim, with only a few flickering oil lamps emitting a faint glow. The light danced in the darkness like elves dancing, adding a bit of mystery and weirdness to this mysterious space. After turning the corner, the secret passage became more spacious. Some strange symbols were carved on the wall, emitting a faint light. The top of the secret passage was covered with holes of varying sizes, through which light poured down, forming long and thin beams of light, like silver flick ribbons dancing in the darkness. There was an old atmosphere in the air, and a faint light on the wall, barely illuminating the dim surroundings. As he went deeper, Luo Sha could clearly feel the concentration of chakra in the air getting higher and higher. The 5 of them came to the end, which was a wide circular area. This was an altar, with a faint glow in the center and the aura of dragon vein chakra emanating from it. When Rayquaza saw the dragon vein, he immediately flew forward, felt it carefully, and let out a cry of joy. Queen Anna, I'm counting on you. Luo Sha looked at Rayquaza lying anxiously in the center of the altar, twisting its dragon body excitedly, and turned to Anna and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me." Queen Anna walked forward and directed the flow of dragon vein chakra, and all the dragon vein chakra flowed towards Rayquaza. Luo Sha activated the power of Takawa and sensed the situation of Rayquaza. Rayquaza originally cultivated natural energy and had no chakra in his body. Now Rayquaza has both natural energy and chakra in his body, and the 2 energies are constantly merging. Theoretically, Pokémon cannot cultivate chakra, because the natural energy and chakra cannot be balanced and the Pokémon will be petrified. If you practice chakra first and then natural energy, you won't have this worry. Because Pokémon can absorb energy from nature in a short period of time, the natural energy in the body can grow rapidly until it is equal to chakra, forming a balance, which is the Sage mode. The same is true for a ninja who wants to activate the Sage mode. First he must cultivate chakra, then he must cultivate natural energy. But Pokémon are born with the ability to absorb natural energy, which eliminates the possibility for them to practice chakra. But Rayquaza became an accident, and Dragon Vein Chakra was Rayquaza's opportunity. Rayquaza has a high degree of adaptability to Dragon Vein Chakra and has no rejection at all. Rayquaza can absorb Dragon Vein Chakra and quickly increase the chakra to a level equal to natural energy to avoid petrification. At this time, Rayquaza was lying quietly on the altar. Both types of energy in his body were growing rapidly, and his body size was visibly increasing. Rayquaza was originally 5 meters long, and in a short while it had grown to 7 meters, reaching the adult level. But Rayquaza did not stop, and its size continued to grow slowly. The sun rose and the moon set, and 3 days passed quietly. Burp with a burp, the overfed Rayquaza opened his eyes and immediately covered his mouth with his paws. But my claws are too short to cover my mouth. A visibly blush crept across Rayquaza's face, and he turned his head away shyly, outpossessing the pride of being the god of the sky. Rayquaza quickly adjusted his mentality, raised his head and roared into the sky. Then his 10-meter-long body floated up and flew to Luo Sha's side. Anna was already sweating all over and almost exhausted. At this moment, she watched Rayquaza wake up and fell to the ground with a sigh of relief. Luo Sha looked at the big guy so close to him. If it weren't for his usual clear eyes, Luo Sha would have been a little afraid to recognize him. The big boy has changed a lot after a good sleep. The originally small, cute and adorable little dragon has turned into a majestic and domineering dragon. Rayquaza's huge and majestic body is covered with a layer of hard green scales, shining with dazzling light. Its sharp claws and pointed teeth are chilling. You can tell at a glance that the resistance has increased by more than 1 level. It was Rayquaza's howl just now that almost deafened Luo Sha's ears. In this enclosed environment, you'd better speak quietly. Luo Sha rubbed his ears and said helplessly. Wooly Kongza whimpered twice and rubbed his head against Luo Sha to show that he understood. Name, Rayquaza. Gender, none. Attribute, dragon. Flying. Features, airlock. Level, LV 60. Jounin, individual. 6 volt, HP 31, attack 31, defense 31, special attack 31, special defense 31, speed 31, skills, Sage mode, finishing touch, reverse scale, speed, dragon dance, dragon wave, loud voice, sleep. Rayquaza was only 8 months old, originally at level 24, but after waking up, he became level 60, just 1 step away from being an elite Jonin. I wonder what Eberzo's crystal lamp spirit, who worked hard for 3 years to reach level 70, thinks. The crystal lamp spirit has not yet broken through to the cage level, and Ebizo, who cannot stand up in front of Xiao, can only be a younger brother forever. However, Rayquaza's level increase is secondary. The most important thing is that Rayquaza has learned the Sage Mode. Once the Sage Mode is activated and combined with Mega Evolution, Rayquaza may be able to directly reach the cage level. Luo Sha is in a good mood. Although he was such a big dragon, who would have thought that his mental age was still that of a baby? Rayquaza still loves to stick to Luo Sha as before, and Luo Sha feels that he is bearing the unbearable weight of life. Hey, Rayquaza, be gentle, stop pestering me, I'm going to crush you. Wu Rayquaza looked at Luo Sha with grievance. He had called her sweetie 3 days ago. Old father Luo Sha has a long way to go in educating his children. With Rayquaza's transformation complete, the five left the basement and returned to the castle. Mom, where have you been? Sarah couldn't find you just now. As soon as she returned to the castle, a little girl about 3 or 4 years old ran over with red eyes and threw herself into Anna's arms. Wow, is this a dragon? So handsome. Sarah saw the huge Rayquaza behind Anna at a glance, and her eyes lit up with stars. Sarah, Mom was just dealing with some business with the guests. These are the brothers and sisters from the Sand Village, come and meet them. Queen Anna introduced Luo Sha and other three to Sarah, and Sarah politely greeted them one by one. Sarah, this is Rayquaza, a Pokémon. Do you want a Pokémon? Luo Sha looked at the cute Sarah and suddenly had an idea. The Laolan royal family can draw out the dragon vein chakra, maybe they have excellent chakra talent. Queen Anna is old and it's a bit late for her to start training, but Sarah can by attracting Sarah to the Sand Village. Sand Village will have absolute influence on Laolan in the future. More importantly, Sand Village will be able to gain a cage-level strongman. Sarah has the potential to be a movie star. Luo Sha was inspired by her talent and decided to take Sarah into his fold. Really? Can I have a Pokémon? Sarah looked at Anna expectantly and asked after hearing what Rosa said. This. Anna didn't know whether this was good or bad, and fell into deep thought. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Cooperation Achieved, Rain Country. Queen Anna, Pokémon are as powerful as ninjas. Let Pokémon become the guardians of Laolan. They will defend every inch of this ancient city like a steel wall. You also know the situation in the Wind Country in the past 2 years. There are already a large number of Pokémon living in the wild. Pokémon have become the mainstream of the Sand Village, and their role is even greater than that of puppeteers. Imagine that when soldiers fight alongside Pokémon, they will have unrivaled power. Accepting Pokémon as Laolan's armed forces will enable Laolan to move towards a stronger and more prosperous future. If you're worried, the Sand Village can act as a guarantee. The Pokémon will definitely be beneficial and harmless. If anything goes wrong, the Sand Village will be fully responsible. Luo Sha began to work hard to promote his products, striving to expand his business to Laolan. Luo Sha, can you represent the Sand Village? This is a serious matter. I can only feel relieved if Lulan signs of an agreement with the Sand Village. Anna is a good queen who serves her country and her people, and national defense has always been Anna's concern in the original novel. Lushan persuaded Anna to use the power of dragon veins to develop puppet army, and Anna agreed to Lushan's proposal. Anna would naturally be by Luo Sha's proposal. Of course, we can formally establish diplomatic relations with Laolan on behalf of the Sand Village, allowing both parties to become close strategic partners. Afterwards, the two sides had a detailed discussion on specific matters. The Laolan royal family fully supports the vigorous development of the spirit industry. At the same time, the Laolan royal family is willing to act as an agent and open a spirit store in Laolan. At that time, the profits will be divided into 80% and 20%, with the Sand Village taking 80% and the Laolan royal family taking 20%. Luo Sha is in a good mood. What Luo Sha valued was not the small market of a few thousand people in Laolan, but the safety of the dragon vein. In short, adhering to the principle that you may make money, but I will definitely not lose money, Luo Sha negotiated another business deal. After everything was settled, Luo Sha took out the geranium's elf egg and gave it to Sarah. Sarah stretched out her hand with joy, carefully took the elf egg, and gently stroked the green pattern on the elf egg. as if she could feel the pulse of life inside it. Her heart resonated solely with the elf egg, a mysterious and wonderful connection. Sarah looked expectant as she held the elf egg tightly, waiting for the elf to hatch. With the sound of the eggshell cracking, a large leaf broke through the eggshell first and came into everyone's sight first. A pale green chrysanthemum leaf poked its head out with difficulty, opened its eyes and looked at Sarah. The air was filled with a faint fragrance, which was the scent of flowers and plants coming from the chrysanthemum leaf. I saw the chrysanthemum leaf gently bit off a piece of eggshell with its small mouth and chewed it slowly. Sarah felt an indescribable joy in her heart and stared at the chrysanthemum leaves intently. So cute, Sarah hugged chrysanthemum leaf tightly, her face filled with a smile of happiness and satisfaction, and her eyes revealed an indescribable joy. Yukira lay quietly in Sarah's arms, feeling her warm embrace, and fell asleep peacefully after Sarah subdued Yukira. Rasa helped Sarah test her ninja talent. Sarah possessed chakra of 3 attributes: wind, water, and fire. Luo Sha and Queen Anna agreed that when Sarah turned 6, she would be sent to the Sand Hidden Ninja School for further study. There, Sarah would learn and master various ninjutsu and techniques to become an excellent ninja, and trainer Queen Anna did not refuse. She reached out and touched Sarah, agreeing to Luo Sha's proposal. Luo Sha, little brother +1. The trip to Lalin ended. Luo Sha and the other 3 looked at each other and smiled in tacit understanding. After apologizing to Shagu in his heart, Luo Sha put on his sunglasses with peace of mind and flew to the battlefield of the Rain Country on the Reiki. Shagu, HU, that kid Luo Sha must be missing me. I've been out for 5 days, and I don't know how it's going. Why hasn't the Anbu sent any news? At this moment, the Anbu ninjas were running desperately in the desert, chasing Rayquaza, who was flying quickly in the sky. They were too tired to send a letter to Shaku. Anbu ninja, wait for me, I haven't gotten on the car yet. The next day, Luo Sha and his 3 companions came to the battlefield of Rain Country and entered the Sand Village base. The Anbu ninjas, who had lost 2.5 kilograms after running all day, also arrived at the Sand Village base. They rolled their eyes and fell down at the door of the base. Why? Is there a death at the gate of our base? Not dead, just fainted. So many people fainted. What do you mean by fainted? He must be here to scam me. No way. Who is so bold as to commit fraud against us? That's right. In the Wind Country, there's only one street and no one asks who's the boss. After finding the proof on the Anbu ninjas, the guards immediately arranged for them to receive emergency medical treatment. When Luo Sha and his 3 friends learned about this afterwards, they were all very upset. These brothers are really dedicated. They sneaked into the battlefield of Rain Country, and Shagu must have known about it. Luo Sha and the other 3 went directly to find Xiao openly to find out the current situation on the battlefield. Xiao, why are you 4 little brats here? The battle in the Rain Country battlefield has been going on for nearly 7 months, with Sand Village, Iwagakure and Konoha fighting back and forth. Tsunade neutralized the poison that Xiao was best at. In the past 7 months, Xiao had used at least 30 kinds of poison techniques, and Tsunade had antidotes for all of them. In addition to detoxification, Tsunade also rescued a large number of Konoha ninjas with powerful medical ninjutsu, such as the palm ninjutsu. Tsunade single-handedly raised the upper limit of medical ninjas, causing their status to rise sharply. The Sand Village is not far behind in terms of medical ninjas. With the development of the elf industry and the financial surplus of the Sand Village, it has made great efforts to cultivate medical ninjas. In 2 years, it has more than 500 medical Jinan and Chunin. Konoha and Sunagakure are the only 2 villages with strong medical care based on Tsunade's performance. Xiao also learned the palm ninjutsu and achieved great accomplishments in medical ninjutsu, becoming a medical master who is no weaker than Tsunade. During the nearly 7 months of war, the losses of ninjas from Konoha and Sunagakure were not heavy. On the contrary, the number of ninjas killed in Iwagakure was almost the sum of those from Konoha and Sunagakure. More than 6,000 people from Konoha were killed in the battle, more than 2,600 people from Sunagakure were killed, and about 8,500 people from Iwagakure were killed. We have to admit that the Konoha ninja is very strong. The number of ninjas killed in battles between Sand Village and Iwagakure is nearly twice that of Konoha, but most of the data is contributed by the old friends of Iwagakure. If it weren't for the Iwagakure holding back and Tsunade restricting Xiao's poison techniques, Xiao believed that the Sunagakure would have been able to reach the Fire Nation long ago. Far away in the Iwagakure village, Inoki was so worried about the number of deaths of Iwagakure ninjas that his hair almost fell out. The main reason for the gap between the three parties is medical care. Iwagakure suffered a great loss in this regard, but it was unable to develop medical ninjas in a short period of time, so Iwagakure could only rely on its numerical advantage to fight Konoha to the death. Although Inoki was shrewd and calculating during World War II, he was not as stable as he is now in his old age. Otherwise, with this loss ratio, how would we dare to play with Sans Village in Konoha? But Inoki's waist is stronger now than when he was old. After all, he sprains it 3 times a year now. When he gets sold. Chapter 43, War in the Rain Country. In the Land of Rain, at the headquarters of Tsunagakure, the central army camp, so, at the beginning, Konoha was no match for Sand Village and Iwagakure. Konoha was beaten back step by step, and the battle line retreated 200 miles. But after the baptism of war, the 3 ninjas of Konoha reached the level of Kage, and we could no longer maintain our advantage. After learning the specific situation of the current battlefield in the Land of Rain from Xiao, Luo Sha always felt that the 3 ninjas of pornography, gambling and drug use were like the protagonists with cheats. In the original work, did they become Kage-level powerhouses so early? This was during World War II. However, Luo Sha and his 4 companions have now arrived at the battlefield, and their top combat power can directly crush them. Konoha still has Uzumaki Mito and Sarutobi Hirozen in charge, but no matter whether it is Uzumaki Miro or Sarutobi Hirozen, as long as one of them comes to the battlefield in person, it means that Konoha has no more cards to play. Shadow represents the last line of defense of the ninja village. Sarutobi Hirozen doesn't dare to move rashly, and Rasa is confident that he can completely defeat the Konoha ninjas in the battlefield of Rain Country. As long as it is destroyed quickly enough, Konoha will not have time to react. Haha, the next battle will be the moment when Xiao Ai, will become famous in the ninja world. Xiao Ai wore sunglasses, crossed his arms in front of his chest, raised his head and began to imagine the scene of himself beating up the Konoha ninja. The whole person was on fire. Kodo. Buscadora looked excited and stretched out his paw to pat Xiao Ai. Duh. Bo, what's wrong? Zhongmi's fantasy was interrupted and he turned around and asked in confusion, Keduo. Armor hero, transform. I want to transform too. How about I transform first in the first battle, and you do it next time? Zhongaya scratched his head and negotiated tentatively. More. No, I have to transform first. You can do it next time. Buscadora rejected Xiao Ai's application and relegated Xiao Ai to the supporting position. Xiao Ai, if your life is not in danger, don't use Chongming's ability. Now is not the right time. Xiao said in a leisurely tone and directly banned Xiao Ai's King Balm. The major ninja villages still have their strength. Even the Iwagakure, which has suffered the most damage, has lost nearly 20,000 ninjas, but now still has 40,000 troops. Iwagakure has recruited another 10,000 ninjas in the past 6 months. Following this trend, the 5 major ninja villages will be able to hold on for at least 2 to 3 years if nothing unexpected happens. Now that the 7 Tails has been exposed, I'm afraid that Sans Village will fall into an unfavorable situation. Why is this happening? Xiao Ai wanted to cry but had no tears. Since he couldn't use Chongming's ability, he couldn't use the magnetic release, Giant God Soldier, and he couldn't transform. I have to give Buscadora a set of armor again. It turns out that he is destined to be a support. XWX, Zongaya was dejected. He took out a branch and squatted in the corner to draw circles. Kaduo. Don't worry, Ami, I will protect you. Buscadora walked over and patted Xiao Ai on the shoulder, then took out the Pokeball from Xiao Ai's waist, released his subordinates and began to make pre-war deployments. A lot. Translation. I charge at the front, Steelix and Magnetron charge at the left wing, Armored Bird and Slash Commander charge at the right wing, and Umbrella protects Ami. In short, just charge. The 6 elves completed their deployment and thought the plan was perfect. They looked up and began to fantasize. All 6 elves were ablaze. Luo Sha, how did this disease become contagious? Looking at Xiao Ai, who is still drawing circles in the corner, Luo Sha twitched his lips. What a trainer. Zongaya's elves are usually trained by Buscadora, who is the undisputed boss of Zongaya's team. Including Xiao Ai, the nominal trainer, who had been serving as Buscadora's pendant before becoming the 7 Tails Jinchuuriki. The arrival of Rasa and his 4 companions will undoubtedly change the situation on the battlefield. Xiao simply called several senior executives and began to discuss how to defeat Konoha and trap Iwagakure at the same time. King Dai, wearing a cool red cloak and a pair of round black-framed glasses, walked to the center position, opened the map with his mental power, took out a pen, and began to circle and dot on the map. If we want to defeat Konoha in one blow, we must block all the routes for Konoha ninjas to retreat. This is our base, this is the base of Iwagakure, and this is the base of Konoha. After provoking a war between Iwagakure and Konoha, the voice of the Slow King's mind was transmitted, and from the king's tone, one could clearly feel that everything seemed to be under his control. This kind of confidence is not blind arrogance, but comes from the strong self-confidence brought by his profound foundation and extraordinary strength. That's right, Slow King is the real chief of staff of Sunagakure. The pseudo-chief of staff Xiao leisurely picked up the teacup, took a sip, looked at the astonished expressions of Luo Sha and the other three with a half-smile, and raised the corners of his mouth in satisfaction. Jiao and others were no longer surprised and were taking notes seriously. Lord Dai King, it will be very difficult for us to block these three directions with our manpower. If Konoha breaks out in one direction, we won't be able to stop them at all. Jia. You looked like a good student and raised his hand to ask a question. Yes, so this is the key. Konoha has 3 supreme commanders, and there is also a ninja named Senju Naoki, who is Tsunade's younger brother, right? This is our chance. The only 2 Senju members who followed Tsunade to the battlefield are the breakthrough point. A heavy rain poured down from the endless sky. The raindrops were like swords, breaking the silence of the air and piercing the earth fiercely at the same time. A deep and heart-shaking bell suddenly sounded, like a war drum, announcing the coming of war. The sound echoed in the air, penetrated the rain curtain, and reached every corner of the battlefield. The shouts of killing were deafening, completely drowning out the sound of the pattering rain. In the midst of the wind and rain, faint cries of grief could be heard. The cold rain raged mercilessly across the vast land, trying to wash away the blood and endless filth on the ground, but it was in vain. New blood continued to emerge, dyeing the earth red. Damn it, are Sunagakure and Iwagakure crazy? Tsunade kept swinging her fists, each of which had tremendous power and momentum. But the Chikamatsu 10 were not to be outdone, and under Chihayo's manipulation, they worked closely together, performing various ninjutsu and taijutsu techniques to deal with Tsunade's attacks. Tsunade walked among the 10 Kinmatsu people, and her fists rained down on them, making dull sounds, and the fight was difficult to determine. Although the high-end combat forces of Sans Village and Iwagakure were successfully held back, Konoha's ninja army was losing ground. This time, the offensive of Sans Village and Iwagakure was too fierce. They seemed to have totally disregarded their own losses and just kept attacking, using a tactic that would hurt the enemy by 1,000 and lose 800 of their own. This is so abnormal. At this moment, a deafening roar sounded from a distance. It was the work of the Iwagakure blasting team. Tsunade's heart suddenly tightened, as if being grasped by an invisible big hand. She paused and a terrible guess arose in her mind. That direction is Rope Tree. Chapter 44, The Unjust Yanin. Super strength, painful kick. A powerful gust of wind suddenly surged out, shockling nearly 10 people in the crowd and forcing them to retreat hastily. Tsunade hurriedly ran to the place where the explosion occurred, and she was completely panicked. Shengshu, please don't be in any trouble. Xiao did not stop Tsunade's actions, but calmly retracted a puppet line and turned around to kill the Konoha ninjas. The direction of the retracted puppet string was exactly the same as the direction where the explosion occurred. At such a long distance, even Xiao cannot control the puppet. This is a combination skill of Xiao and Slow King. Xiao was a puppet master of his generation, and the knowledgeable and servile King Slowpoke naturally also specialized in puppetry. Xiao had used the S-level puppetry technique, Genshin Saki, to implant the puppet line into the body of a member of the blasting team. After exceeding the control distance, Xiao could no longer control the puppet at this time. Slow King approaches the human puppet and shares his mind with Xiao. With Xiao in command, Slow King uses telekinesis to operate the puppet strings, realizing remote puppetry. The human puppet operated by King Slowpoke took the initiative to find the thousand-handed rope tree. The puppet pretended to be defeated and kept retreating, leading the battle to trap. When Senju Rope Tree steps into the trap, it will explode. Both men were killed in the explosion. The Iwagakure village exchanged a member of the blasting team for the life of Prince Senju, which was a huge profit. I believe that Inoki will be very excited when he hears the news. The kind of excitement that makes him want to cry. After all, the war had been going on for 8 months, and Iwagakure finally had a chance to shine. Tsunade rushed forward, knocking away anyone who was blocking her way, and ran to the explosion site, where she saw Rope Tree's body at a glance. No, this is impossible. Naoki, please open your eyes and look at your sister, please. Tsunade seemed to have lost all her support at this moment. She knelt on the ground, hugging Naoki's body, tears falling like pearls from a broken string, each drop filled with endless grief and reluctance. Her fingers gently slid across Shangshu's cold face, trying to evoke the familiar smile in her memory. However, all she got in response was ruthless coldness and silence. I am the man who will become Hokage. The young man's smile as bright as the sun seemed to still be in front of my eyes, but I could never see it again. Tsunade raised her eyes and saw the necklace hanging on Rope Tree's neck and the broken body. Endless hatred surged into her heart like a tide. Tsunade clenched her teeth, trying hard not to let the tears flow out again, but the crystal tears still slid down her cheeks uncontrollably. She gently wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes, held the necklace in her hand, picked up the Rope Tree, and walked towards the Konoha camp with heavy steps. With every step, the pain in her heart deepened. She hugged Shangshu's body tightly, as if this could make him come back to her. Tsunade kept recalling every moment she spent with Naoki, from a babbling baby to a kind-hearted teenager. Approaching the camp and placing the Rope Tree, Tsunade turned around, the sadness in her eyes completely replaced by hatred. This war will be the starting point for her to avenge Shangshu. Tsunade returned to the battlefield and continued to attack the Iwagakure ninjas like a madman. Kari was unable to take care of himself at this time and could only watch Tsunade slaughter the Iwagakure ninjas. Rope Tree is Orochimaru's apprentice, and Orochimaru is also extremely sad at this time. But Orochimaru is more rational. He can't leave the battlefield, and it is enough for Tsunade to settle Rope Tree. The only thing Orochimaru can do for Rope Tree at this time is to make Iwagakure pay a heavy price. The 5 elite Jonin of Kari and Iwagakure struggled to resist Orochimaru's attack, and each of them suffered more and more injuries. As the battle continued, several Iwagakure ninjas realized that Orochimaru was torturing them and didn't want them to die easily. Damn it, what is Tsunagakure doing? Why isn't anyone holding Tsunade back? Tsunade has gone crazy killing people in the Iwagakure army, and Korea has gone mad with anxiety. Kari was looking for Xiao and found that she was fighting with an elite Jonin of Konoha. The elite Jonin's name was Kasuga Wuwake, and he was also confused at this moment. When did I become so powerful? Even Xiao is on par with me. Am I so powerful? Yes, I am so Dioret. I am so ashamed that I have come to this day. Xiao? That's it? That's it. The fourth Hokage was as easy as taking something out of a bag. Chu Si Wu Kai was completely overwhelmed, and then was stabbed in the heart by Xiao. After finishing another scene, Xiao was in a good mood. She pretended to be short of chakra and gasped for breath, then pulled Leon up, and the two of them supported each other and sneaked into the Sand Village army to fish the hunter who witnessed everything. Actor. It's really unfair to you not to go to Hollywood. Tsunagakure, can you please have some credibility? Obviously, you were the ones who first proposed today's all-out attack. Sho looked at the situation on the field and almost cried. He was afraid that he would really be ruined this time. Sho's head was buzzing at this time, and he planned to quickly call back the troops, gather the Iwagakure army and prepare to escape. But he was held back by Orochimaru and was unable to organize the overall situation, and Konoha had no intention of stopping the war. At this point, Iwagakure had to fight and couldn't escape. The Senju clan is too special for Konoha. Under the leadership of Tsunade, the Konoha ninjas have become bloodthirsty and all attacked the Iwagakure ninjas. The Sand Village ninjas were relieved and slowly withdrew from the battlefield according to the orders from their superiors. As the fight went on, the Konoha ninjas noticed something was wrong. Why are there fewer and fewer Sand Village ninjas? Orochimaru naturally discovered the clue and killed 5 elite Jonin of Iwagakure swiftly. His golden vertical pupils stared at Sho like a poisonous snake. The long tongue licked the corner of his mouth, and a cold voice sounded, "Berkuten Hunter, I will let you go this time. Be good and clean your neck and wait for me." Orochimaru turned away expresslessly. His cold and deep eyes seemed to be able to penetrate everything. Orochimaru came to Tsunade and tightly grasped her arm. Tsunade was slightly stunned, but did not resist. She understood Orochimaru's intention. Then, Orochimaru gave the order in a low and firm voice, "All Konoha ninjas, listen up. Retreat immediately." After receiving the order, The Konoha ninjas acted quickly and moved to the rear at the fastest speed. The whole scene was tense and orderly, without any panic. Tsunade, her body covered in the blood of her enemies, walked silently beside Orochimaru. Her emotions had calmed down, and she was also keenly aware of the abnormality on the battlefield. Just when Konoha and Iwagakure were about to cease fire, the celestial phenomena on the entire battlefield began to change dramatically. Hundreds of giant rock monsters gathered all their energy and released their sand-raising properties in one fell swoop. The heavy rain stopped abruptly and the rain quickly dissipated, but the sky did not return to its clear blue color. Instead, it presented a strange scene. Yellow sand was flying all over the sky. The sand and dust were like surging waves, gathering from all directions and forming a huge and terrifying sandstorm. It swept towards the battlefield at an astonishing speed. Chapter 45. The protagonist makes his debut. In the huge sandstorm, the figures of Luo Sha and the elves were looming. The three ninjas of Konoha summoned their respective summoning beasts and took the lead in resisting the sandstorm. Jiraiya, you called me out, what? As soon as Gamabunta appeared, he felt the terrifying atmosphere of the sandstorm. Damn. Orochimaru, you actually summoned me to fight the sandstorm? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Believe it or not, I will eat you alive. Wanch stared with his vertical pupils, looking at the oncoming sandstorm in shock, and even forgot to ask for sacrifices. Ah, Tsunade-chan, I can't do it. The slug wanted to give up, but for the sake of the reputation of the wet-boned forest, he had to grit his teeth and go on. Chiyo, we are allies, stop now. Sho's face was full of fear, and his pupils reflected the approaching huge sandstorm, which was getting bigger and bigger, getting closer and closer, and blowing towards him. Sho was confident that he could run away, but what about his subordinates? Sho's shouts were destined to go unanswered, so Sho gritted his teeth and stood in the front, releasing the largest-scale explosive attack on the sandstorm. Seeing that the commanders were at the front, the ninjas from Konoha and Iwagakure also released ninjutsu towards the sandstorm, with colorful attacks of fire, water, earth and lightning flashing of course. There were also a very small number of ninjas who escaped, but they were intercepted and killed by Xiao Ai, Yukira and others after they ran far away. Although the sandstorm was a fatal blow launched by hundreds of giant rock monsters working together, it was still difficult to withstand such a fierce and intensive attack. The sandstorm collapsed and disappeared before it arrived. Before everyone could breathe a sigh of relief, Luo Sha's attack came right after. The weapons of the giant god soldier dispersed into shurikens of gold dust, which is the magnetic release. Gold dust multiple shurikens. This is a ninjutsu that is far more terrifying than multiple shuriken. At the moment the sandstorm broke, thousands of shurikens flew from afar, and most of the middle and lower ninjas who were unable to react were killed or injured. Screams rang out one after another, and the earth was completely dyed red with blood. The Jonins either avoided or resisted, but many of them were also injured. This move cleared out the small fish and harvested at least 3,000 lives. The number of injured is so large that it is difficult to count. The faces of the three ninjas of Kari and Konoha were completely gloomy. What did the Sand Village want to do? Were they going to declare war on Konoha and Iwagakure at the same time? Tsunagakure quickly told them the answer. A huge, irregularly shaped rock wall suddenly emerged from the ground and grew rapidly, surrounding the east and west of the battlefield. This was a rock wall created by the Pokémon of Sand Village. Looking down from a high altitude, you can see two narrow lines appearing on both sides of the vast battlefield. Rumble Rock and the three gophers poked their heads out from underground and stood in front of the rock wall. The south of the battlefield was the base of the Sand Village Ninja. Xiao led the ninja army to block this place in the north. The fighting has already started. Luo Sha's giant god soldier stood in the north. The attacks of the ninjas did not cause any ripples on Luo Sha, while Luo Sha swung the giant gold hammer like playing whack-a-mole, becoming more and more excited as he fought. Yukira shuttled through the battlefield like a bullet. Silver metal headshot, gold metal headshot. The Metagross swung its fists to hit the ninja, and Hyu lay on the Metagross to buff it and deal some damage. At the same time the two werewolves cooperated well and shuttled across the battlefield. The dragon-headed hamster's claws kept digging out its heart and lungs, and Jenger, wearing Rosa's sunglasses, hid in the shadows and sipped the juice. Hey, special effects blockbuster, so addictive. If this scene could be spread to the ninja world, it would definitely attract a lot of people to watch at this time. Jenger came up with the idea of making a movie. Garou's elf also fits in with the Sandstorm team, surrounding Luo Sha and fighting together. As for Zongai's spirit, Boscator put on his armor and rushed in first, and no one knew where he was going. Zongai bid farewell in tears, his eyes full of envy. Nut Dumbbell stayed by Zongai's side. Yukang rode on Charizard and performed Scorch Release in the sky. Charizard flew and spit fire, and 2 rays kept sweeping downwards. Jiraiya acted decisively and immediately found Rasa to stop him from slaughtering the Konoha ninjas. Chiyo controlled the Chikamatsu 10 to surround Tsunade, while the Hippo King held back Orochimaru. Jiayu and Leon led the Steelix troops to tie down the demolition teams of Kari and Iwagakure. The Konoha ninjas and Iwagakure ninjas, who were fighting for their lives just now, are now working together to fight against the Sand Village. It is obvious that the Sand Village is here to annihilate them completely. In the face of the overall situation, all hatred is temporarily put aside. The war broke out again and smoke filled the entire battlefield. The sandstorm continued, and the Konoha and Iwagakure armies chose to work together to advance northward. The south is the Sand Village army, and the losses will be the greatest if they break out to the south. The east and west were blocked by high rock walls. The ninja armies of the 2 villages were too large in number and many were injured. There was not enough time to break through the walls and evacuate. Only the north, where the giant has been held back by Jiraiya, is the best direction for them to retreat. The ninjas had a high level of combat awareness and immediately rushed in the north under the leadership of several elite Jonin. Boscadora looked at the army charging at him with a satisfied look on his face. Yes, that's it. I'll let you have a taste of my Italian cannon. Just as the ninjas from the 2 villages retreated to the north and were about to cross Rasa, a dragon roar was heard from the sky. Rayquaza has not appeared on the battlefield because he was hiding in the clouds to activate buffs, Sage Mode plus Mega Evolution plus 6 Dragon Dances. With the simultaneous use of Sage Mode and Mega Evolution, the 10-meter-long Rayquaza grew to 15 meters, completely turning into the appearance of the blue dragon in mythology and legend. Several huge beams of light emitting a chilling green light descended from the sky. These beams were like the light of judgment from heaven, descending with the force of thunder. The ninjas covered by the blue beams didn't even have time to scream before they were reduced to ashes in an instant. As the light beams gradually dissipated, only bottomless pits remained. Not even a trace of meat or debris could be found in the pits. Everything was wiped out by this terrifying force. Rayquaza descended from the sky and blocked the front of the ninja army. The dragon's tail swept across, and energy balls continued to condense in its mouth, with dragon waves coming one after another. This is a one-sided massacre. The faces of Kari and the 3 ninjas of Konoha were as black as the bottom of a pot. Jiraiya was closest to Rayquaza at the moment, but was restrained by the god soldier and unable to go to the rescue. It has only been 3 minutes since the sandstorm appeared, and Konoha and Iwagakure have suffered heavy losses. Rayquaza is still wreaking havoc on the ninja army, and several people die at its hands every second. This all indicates that Konoha and Iwagakure's breakout to the north has also failed. After fighting with Jiraiya for 5 minutes, Rasa felt that there was little chakra left in his body and the giant god soldier could no longer hold on. Luo Sha now only has 1.2 card of chakra, and 5 minutes is already the limit. The giant god soldier slowly dissipated, and Gardevoir immediately used instant teleportation to send Rosa to Rayquaza. Jengar, who was watching happily, felt dizzy and broke away from the shadow, exposing himself to the air. Gee, why? Is Luo Sha missing? Wait a minute. Jengar immediately dived into the nearest shadow and began to move towards Rasa. Chapter 46, One Battle to Become Famous. Seeing Luo Sha coming, Rayquaza spit out a dragon wave and immediately flew into the sky. As soon as the 2 major obstacles on the northern battlefield disappeared, the Konoha and Iwagakure ninjas immediately evacuated from the battlefield. Jiraiya watched Rasa and Rayquaza disappear before his eyes, then turned and ran south to support Tsunade. At this time, Rayquaza flew into the sky and launched the Delta Airflow, and the sandstorm weather on the entire battlefield came to an abrupt end. But the sands flying in the air did not fall down, but slowly rose into the air. Not only the sand in the air, but also the sand on the ground. A strange scene happened, and all the sand was flying and gathering into the air. Just like the gods awakening in the desert, countless golden grains of sand seemed to be given life, gathering into vast torrents of sand, rushing straight into the sky, as if to dye the entire sky golden. This spectacular scene was like a dynamic painting, but the ninjas present did not feel it was beautiful, but panic. This is the ninjutsu that Rasa has been developing ever since he gained the power of Takuwa. This move is driven by the power of Takuwa and assisted by magnetic chakra. The principle is very similar to the fairy technique. Luo Sha named it, Cycle of Heaven and Earth, Endless Sandstorm, Sand Gold Prison, and Great Burial Technique. Luo Sha stood on Rayquaza, opened his eyes, opened his hands, and slowly pressed down. As Luo Sha moved, the sand that was originally gathering upward seemed to be restrained by an invisible force and instantly stopped in mid-air afterwards. Countless golden grains of sand, as if pulled by some irresistible force, fell rapidly, as if the sky was falling and the earth was collapsing, with the power to destroy everything. All Konoha ninjas and Iwagakure ninjas retreating to the north are within the attack range. Jiraiya, who went to support Tsunade, turned around and saw this horrible scene. He couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat and felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. All the ninjas within the torrent's attack range fell into despair. In their vision, the entire sky turned dark, and all they could see was that crazy sand. Some ninja seals with trembling hands, trying to use ninjutsu to attack the torrent of water falling from the sky. Some ninjas had trembling legs and dull eyes formed. They didn't even have the courage to fight back and could only watch the terrible sandstorm swallow them up. Boom, with a loud roar, the torrent landed. The entire northern battlefield was buried in sand, and the ground shook violently, as if a major earthquake had occurred. The entire northern battlefield fell into dead silence, with only the whistling wind and the sound of flowing sand still echoing. All the Konoha and Iwagakure ninjas were killed in the northern battlefield. In this war, Iwagakure and Konoha each dispatched 10,000 ninjas, for a total of 20,000 ninjas. After the Great War between Iwagakure and Konoha, there were still more than 13,000 ninjas alive from both sides. Luo Sha had previously killed 3,000 people with one move of the gold sand multiple shuriken and this technique of reincarnation of heaven and earth. Endless Sandstorm, Sand and Gold Prison, and Great Burial Technique achieved a record of 7,000. Because most ninjas were evacuating to the north, Luo Sha had the advantage of time, place and people to achieve such an effect. Luo Sha looked at the results of the battle with satisfaction, then his eyes went dark and he fell on Rayquaza. Not only was his chakra running out, but his Takuwa power was also exhausted, including his physical and mental strength. There was really not a drop of Rosa left. Rayquaza panicked and immediately flew back to the Sand Village camp to find medical ninja and a doctor. This battle announced the end of the war on the Rain Country battlefield, and Konoha and Iwagakure were defeated. The battle situation in the Rain Country spread throughout the ninja world in 3 days, and Rasa's name became known to the world. Konoha and Iwagakure gave Rasa the terrifying titles of the Butcher of 10,000 People and the Devil of Sand Village, while Sand Village gave Rasa the title of Lord of the Sandstorm. Shagu was in a very good mood as he saw Luo Sha's fame spread far and wide. As a result, Konoha and Iwagakure are taking the lead in blackening their own son. How can we tolerate this? Not only did Shagu put enormous pressure on the Sand Village's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he also personally took the stage and spoke passionately on the microphone, angrily scolding the two old villains, Inoki and Sarutobi Hirozen. The Konoha Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Iwagakure Ministry of Foreign Affairs were already under a lot of pressure, and now the pressure is even greater. Iwagakure Village, Iwagakure Building. Inoki sat weakly in the chair, looking at the letter from the Rain Country with a look of disbelief on his face. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, 10 years old, 10 years old, why wasn't this kid born in my Iwagakure village? The heavens are so unfair, so unfair. An almost insane voice sounded, and Inoki laughed until tears to fall. This pillar of began the Iwagakure village has always worked hard for the prosperity of the village. He regards Konoha as his goal and leads the Iwagakure village to become strong and on par with the Kumagakure village. However, fate was so cruel that he never expected that he would suffer such a big defeat at the hands of the Sand Village this time. Inoki knew that Rasa had not yet reached his peak. He was the second god of the ninja world, just like Hashirama Senju back then. But he was powerless to stop Luo Sha's rise. He had already anticipated the future and could only watch as Sunagakure replaced Konoha Village. Hokage Building. Sarutobi Hirozen stood in front of the window, looking into the distance, his brows furrowed, and he smoked his pipe with a melancholy look. A thin layer of smoke slowly diffused in the air, as chaotic and complicated as his thoughts. 10 minutes later, Sarutobi Hirozen gently put down the pipe in his hand. He turned around, and his expression had returned to calm and firmness. The teacher handed Konoha over to me. I must protect Konoha's foundation. The ninja world was in turmoil, and Rasa became famous throughout the world and was recognized as a cage-level strongman. The 10-year-old cage-level warrior, the Lord of the Sandstorm, Luo Sha. Another person who became famous along with Rasa is the Sky Dragon, Rayquaza, Rayquaza is listed as a cage-level summoning beast along with Salamander and Tsurumachi. Although now both the man and the dragon have the combat power of a shadow for 5 minutes, others don't know this. People only look at the results. The reputation of this man and one dragon is no less than that of the 5 Kage. After the Rain Country War ended, the big ninja villages held meetings and discussions constantly, while the small ninja villages kept aloof from the matter. Little ninja village, I can't win anyway, so what does it matter to me who is the boss? Just lie down and do nothing. The headquarters of Sand Village in the Land of Rain. Luo Sha slowly opened his eyes, his sight gradually focused on the familiar ceiling, and his consciousness began to gradually become clear. Ah, Luo Sha-kun, you finally woke up. I was so worried about you. I thought I was going to be a widow. Woo-woo-woo. Karula, who had been guarding Luo Sha's bedside, cried with joy when she saw Luo Sha wake up. Karula, is there anything to eat? Luo Sha asked softly, feeling hungry. Yes, I'll get it right away. Karula immediately stood up from the bed and walked to the kitchen in a hurry but steady manner. There was hot porridge, which she had prepared in advance so that Luo Sha could replenish his energy immediately after waking up. Xiao moved quickly and returned to the bedside. She scooped a spoonful of porridge and handed it to Luo Sha's mouth, with a gentle smile on her face, as if all the worries and fatigue disappeared at this moment. In the past half-month, she has cooked porridge hundreds of times. When the porridge got cold, she would give it to Zhongmi and cook a new pot. Now this pot was finally put to use. Zongaya, I almost vomited. Chapter 47. Nagato. How long have I been unconscious? Luo Sha asked while drinking porridge. Luo Sha-kun, you have been in a coma for 15 days, so long? What's the situation now? Has Grandma Xiao invaded the Fire Nation's territory? No, after the wars in the other 2 battlefields also stopped temporarily. At the suggestion of Iwagakure, the 5 major ninja villages started the 5 Kage talks. 5 Kage Summit. Luo Sha was stunned. This was not on the original work. Yes, Iwagakure suffered heavy losses and may not want to participate in the war. Kumagakure, Kirigakure and Konoha have all agreed to start the 5 Kage talks. The 5 Kage Summit has already begun in the Land of Iron 3 days ago, but we are the victorious party, so don't worry, Rasa-kun. It all depends on what price Konoha and Iwagakure will have to pay this time. It has been 25 days since he left the village. Before leaving, Luo Sha replenished 1 month's worth of goods for the elf shop. He must return to the Sand Village within 5 days, otherwise he will lose millions of taels every day. I'll talk about the lottery after I get back to the village to get the money. I'll have to leave Xiao Ai offline for a few more chapters. But there is one thing that can be done in these 5 days. Nagato. After drinking the porridge, Luo Sha immediately ran to the central military camp, but Xiao was not there. Only King Dede was reviewing official business. Where is Grandma Xiao? Xiao went to Poyang Lake to fish. You can find her if you walk 10 miles northwest. Dede Wang looked at Luo Sha with despair and continued to review official documents. Forget it. It's the same if I look for you. Mobilize the ninja to help me keep an eye out for a child, a boy with red hair, named Nagato. If you find him, don't make it known. Just let me know, okay? I'll keep someone on the lookout. This matter is very urgent, and we must have results within 2 days. Luo Sha reminded seriously. I know you are in a hurry, but don't be in a hurry. The ninjas were still very efficient, and red hair was so rare that Rasa received Nagato's information 2 days later. Luo Sha and his team members set off immediately. Luo Sha felt itchy when he thought of Nagato, when he was still a little kid. He really wanted to take him home. There are risks in abducting Nagato. Uchiha Madara is just having tubes inserted into his body now, but he is not dead. What if Madara-sama really goes crazy and pulls out the tube to come fight me? I should be able to defeat Madara without the Rinnegan, right? Rasa, who is well versed in the art of hiding, decides to play it safe and has to reluctantly leave Nagato in the Land of Rain. However, Luo Sha will not be able to feel at ease until Nagato is transformed into Luo's shape. Is this the place? Zhongmi asked in confusion as he looked at the wilderness around him. If the intelligence is correct, it should be nearby. Luo Sha formed seals with his hands, his eyes glowed with a golden light, and he activated the Eye of Sand. As the sensing range expanded, Luo Sha discovered a hidden cave not far away. When I entered the cave, I saw the 3 little ones as expected. In the corner of the cave, there were 3 children sitting. They were Nagato, Yohiko, and Konan. Their clothes were so tattered that their original colors could no longer be seen. Their faces were filled with hunger and fatigue, their complexions were pale, and their eyes revealed helplessness and confusion. Due to long-term malnutrition, their bodies were very thin, their hair was messy and had no luster. War only brings suffering and trauma to civilians. Sensing someone approaching, the three little ones immediately stood up, picked up the kunai they had obtained from a corpse before, took a defensive posture, and looked towards the cave entrance vigilantly. Luo Sha looked at their nervous expressions and said softly, "Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you." Luo Sha slowly walked over, took out the food from the space scroll and handed it to the three people. Nagato and the other two looked at each other, put down their kunai, took the food nervously, and began to eat it voraciously. Looking at the looks of the three people, Luo Sha felt soft-hearted. After all, the three people were already Luo Sha's reserved younger brothers. Children of 4 or 5 years old, do we really want to leave them in the rain country to suffer? Without the Rinnegan, Madara, who was at the peak of the celestial shadow level, could he still threaten the Sand Village? He was just an old widower. As for Black Zetsu, Luo Sha didn't even consider it. With a god's perspective, Rasa has already made future plans for Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu's future home, Rasa, has been arranged, which is the tea kettle that sealed Shukaku and Shigeaki. After sealing it, buried the tea kettle 10,000 meters underground in the Kazekage building to ensure that Black Zetsu will never be able to get out. I believe Black Zetsu will like it very much. By the way, did you forget something? Shukaku. The corners of Luo Sha's mouth twitched, as if he had locked Shukaku in a small dark room for more than half a year. Shukaku has no sense of existence, so it's normal to forget about it, right? Shukaku, woohoo, you finally remembered me. When will you let me out? I will be obedient. Greek letter pi. Thank you, big brother. I haven't had a full meal in a while. My name is Yohiko, they are Nagato and Konan. Big brother, what's your name? I will definitely repay you when I grow up, Yohiko. Finished his meal, then looked up and thanked Rasa sincerely. Luo Sha muttered to himself, your repayment is not important, the key is Nagato. In the original work, he repaid Jiraiya very much, even costing Jiraiya his life. Luo Sha began to chat with the three people in a random manner. Luo Sha has made up his mind to include these three people in my bowl. Now that it's here, let the storm get even stronger. Luo Sha showed what he thought was the sunniest smile and asked softly, are you willing to go back to the Sand Village with me? There is no war there, and you can have a stable life. Yohiko, Konan, and Nagato looked at each other, their hearts filled with hesitation. Don't worry, your life is guaranteed. If you are willing, you will be my brothers and sisters in the future, and I will definitely protect you. If anyone wants to hurt you, let him step over my dead body first. Luo Sha looked sincere and shamelessly quoted some sans words to flirt with girls. Sure enough, this sentence was too lethal to a child. The three were successfully moved by Luo Sha and nodded after a moment of silence. Luo Sha happily walked forward and touched the three men's heads, and the three men did not resist. It's really good. I'd better raise it to be plump and white. Luo Sha carried the three people one by one onto Rayquaza's back, and the group of 7 returned to the Sand Village. The three little ones were extremely excited about riding a dragon for the first time and quickly integrated into the team. Luo Sha, little brother +1+1+1. In an unknown underground cave on the dark blue stone walls, there are stone and wood carvings of various struggling human figures, the material of which is difficult to describe. Sitting on the stone throne was an old man, with long pale hair that reached his waist and covered his right eye like a shamit. Bang behind the old man, behind the throne, there were 2 weapons stacked crosswise. One was a sharp sickle, and the other was a mysterious round fire fan with 3 Magatama patterns. Further back, there is a strange humanoid golem of gigantic size and unknown material. A voice broke the silence of the cave. Oh no, Lord Madara, Nagato has been captured by Rasa. Black Zetsu hurriedly emerged from underground and woke up the sleeping Madara. Chapter 48. The filial son appears and returns to the village. What happened? Uchiha Madara slowly opened his eyes and looked at Black Zetsu calmly. Blah blah, blah blah. Black Zetsu finished explaining the whole story and asked hurriedly, Nagato has been taken to the Sand Village. Madara-sama, what should we do now? The Sand Village? Do they want to dance too? Madara was silent for a moment and decided to take action himself. Tell me about the situation in the Sand Village. Madara raised his eyes and looked at Black Zetsu with sharp eyes. There are currently 3 cage-level warriors in the Sand Village, the current Kazekage Shagu, the cage-level puppeteer Xiao, and the recently famous Rasa. I have asked White Zetsu to investigate for more details. Black Zetsu's attention has always been on Konoha. After all, he has not found Madara's successor yet, and this is related to his 1,000-year plan to save his mother. Black Zetsu had never taken the Sand Village seriously before. After all, it was a poor, weak ninja village. Now he could only send White Zetsu to gather intelligence at this moment. Afe emerged from the ground. Black Zetsu, it's bad. I don't know what happened in the Land of Wind. There are tunnels everywhere underground, and there are many unknown creatures. I think they are called elves. The closer we get to the Sand Village, the more elves there are. We can't dig through at all. That place is already hot. Even White Zetsu doesn't want to go there, and now they keep running into elves. Many White Zetsu died, and one White Zetsu disturbed the mating of 2 stones and was beaten into pulp. Elves can even mate. Do you think they know what poop is? I asked them, but unfortunately they can't speak. Speaking of Black Zetsu, what does it feel like to have a bowel movement? Afe finished his words and started asking the daily question. Black Zetsu's face turned even darker and he looked at Uchiha Madara for help. Master Madara, spirits are creatures that have appeared in the ninja world in the past 2 years. They seem to be summoned beasts, and they are almost all concentrated in the Sand Village. In this ninja world war, the spirits of Xiao and Rasa also showed cage-level combat power. Black Zetsu spoke softer and softer. It seemed that the Sand Village was a bit difficult to deal with. Nagato. Going to the Sand Village may not be a bad thing. Once the bond between Nagato and the Sand Village is formed, and then destroying the Sand Village, Nagato will definitely be able to do it himself. As long as there is no super shadow level combat power, Madara will not take it seriously no matter how many shadows there are. Madara is arrogant, and even though he is in such a situation now, he still looks down on the Sand Village. Of course, it is also possible that the elderly have difficulty walking and are too lazy to move. Madara-sama is wise. Black Zetsu always has a bad feeling, but as the product of Uchiha Madara's will, it apparently cannot go against Madara's orders. We must investigate the Sand Village thoroughly. Although Black Zetsu is not very powerful, his ability to escape is the best in the ninja world. He decides to go to the Sand Village in person without telling Madara. Wow, is this the Sand Village? Walking on the streets of Sand Village, Yohiko exclaimed that the Sand Village was covered with green grass, with many planted fields, and elves walking by from time to time. It was completely different from the desert scenery he had imagined. At this moment, a big fat yellow duck came running over, its round belly trembling, immediately attracting everyone's attention. There's no way around it. Siddiq is too eye-catching no matter its appearance or the way it walks. Quack, quack, quack. Panda Duck's face was filled with excitement. He ran closer and jumped directly towards Luo Sha. Luo Sha habitually caught a target with both hands, and fell backwards. Siddiq, you're heavier again. Quack. Panda Duck tilted its head, as if it understood what Luo Sha said. It blinked its big eyes, tilted its head, and stretched out its 2 short and fat wings, trying to show that it was not that fat, but its bulging belly could not be hidden. So cute. Xiagnan's eyes are starry. She has fallen for the appearance of Siddiq. Although Yohiko and Nagato did not express anything, their eyes were also fixed on Siddiq, with a fan-shaped pattern in their eyes that showed 70% fondness, 20% curiosity, and 10% desire. There's really nothing I can do about you. Luo Sha stood up holding Siddiq, and the group went to Luo Sha's mansion. The mansion was big enough to accommodate 3 more people. Luo Sha directly arranged for Nagato and the other 2 to stay in his house. Nagato and the other 2 were too important, so Rasa made a decision that went against Sako's will. Luo Sha decided to adopt a child on behalf of his father. After all, Shagu is a bachelor, and he would be very happy if he had a few more children to take care of him in his old age. Gialo's inner envy. I want to live here too. Why can't children get married? Luo Sha and I are obviously in love with each other. Looking at Karula, who was in love again, Yukang was speechless after spending a long time with Karula. Yukang can almost guess what Karula is thinking. It's not that Yukang is so smart, but Karula's IQ is -250 when she is in love. Zhongmi was also feeling jealous at this time. Was his position as the #1 younger brother going to be lost? It was obviously me who came first. Yukang turned around and saw that Xiao Ai had the same expression as Karula. No, Zongaya, what's wrong with you? Yukang's face was devastated, as if she had discovered a big secret. Is it true that you spend so much money at the age of 10? Luo Sha was unaware of this and was still immersed in the joy of gaining 3 more younger brothers. Let me count: Shira, Sasori, Ishimaru, Maki, Fu, Sarah, Kurkuzu, Nagato, Yohiko, Konan. The future Sands Village group already has 14 members. After settling the 3 little ones and leaving Sidik to their care, Luo Sha went to the Pokemon shop to withdraw money. Uncle Roger, how's business lately? Roger is now Luo Sha's agent. Kakuzu and Jinduado send all their income and bills to Roger, who then passes them on to Luo Sha. Roger has successfully developed the Rakuten calling technique, and is a physical ninja with elite Jonin strength. He is currently a Jonin of the Sands Village. According to Shagu's hiding plan, Roger will become a Jonin for 10,000 years as expected. According to Luo Sha's evil taste, Shiro will inherit his father's career and become the second generation of 10,000-year-old Jonin in the future. It's all here, you can do the logarithm. Uncle Roger took out a box and handed it to Luo Sha. Thanks, Uncle Roger. Please let Ziluo come to my house more often. The boy is only 6 years old, but he stays at the training ground every day. He is really working too hard. If I didn't have Xiao Ai, I might not be able to sit firmly on the top position in the Sand Village. Xiao Ai, it's time for you to come on stage, little love. I am here recharging. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 960 million elf coins. The current balance is 1,000 million elf coins. Luo Sha returned home and recharged all the money he had saved in the year, and watched with satisfaction as the balance increased rapidly. 10 months later, the monthly income was almost 10 million, for a total of 1 billion taels. If he draws another 6 times, he will get the second red one, so Luo Sha starts drawing directly. Monopoly, non-African. Luo Sha just clicks 10 times in a row, and clicks 6,000 times first. Host, slow down. Puff, sizzle, 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 sizzle. A strange sound was heard, and Luo Sha was full of question marks. Xiao Ai, I'm running low on stock. Don't order so fast. I have to go get some urgent stock. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. Am I lucky? It's quite interesting to listen to this strange sound of electricity. Luo Sha did not stop and started pressing rhythmically until the balance dropped to 460 million. Looking at the balls of light filling the sky in front of him, Luo Sha simply collected all the white, green and blue. 6,000 green light balls formed 30 green habitats, and 600 blue light balls formed 3 blue habitats. Finally, there are only 60 purple light balls, 6 orange light balls and 1 red light ball left. Why are there 10 light balls flashing orange? Oh, I am wrong. I am okay. The new European, Rosa, checked it out immediately. Please skip the French black chicken. It is an African country. Purple habitat 3 orange habitat 1 EV egg, purple, 7 Vulcan moth elf egg, purple, 2 Zoroark elf egg, purple, 1 Lucario egg, purple, 1 Greninja egg, purple, 1 Flame Bird egg, orange, 1 Mega Evolution Stone 3, Keystone 3, Magic Candy 2, Master Ball 1. Xiao Ai, is this really the level I can achieve? Luo Sha was shocked. Little love. After gathering the things that were needed, Luo Sha had already decided where they belonged. Eevee was given to Scorpion, Maki, Ishimaru, Fu and Nagato. Give Vulcan Moth to Ishimaru and Fu. Give Zoroark to Scorpion. Give Lucario to Shiro as the main Pokemon, and give Moltres to Yukang. Of course, Luo kept Greninja for himself and assigned it to the second team for training first ninjas with ninjas. So cool. Luo Sha really likes Greninja. Finally, there is the red item, the Feather of Life. Feather of Life, the tail feather that the Phoenix King loves the most, condensing the power of the Phoenix King. According to legend, the wearer will be noticed by the Phoenix King and receive his blessing. Effect 1. If worn for a long time, the elf's level and potential can be slowly improved. Effect 2. Fire and flying skills are increased by 50%. Effect 3. Can revive lives that died within a day, but the feathers will be destroyed after resurrection. This thing seems to be only wearable by Rayquaza. Among Luo Sha's Pokemon team, only Rayquaza has the flying attribute. The world of Pokemon? Great. My tail feathers have finally grown back. Lugia looked at his tail happily. This was his favorite tail feather, which finally grew out after a year. Now he could go out and meet people. I rejected the invitation from the Phoenix King before. I have to go find it quickly. After staying at home for a year, Lugia decided to go meet his old friend Ho-Oh. Lugia arrived at the Ho-Oh residence and looked at the gate made of sacred fire in surprise. Ho-Oh, it's me, Lugia. Open the door quickly. Why did you lock it? Lugia started knocking on the door, but he didn't know that Ho-Oh was terrified at this time and cursed it 100 times in his heart. If you don't come early, you won't come late, but you come now. The Phoenix King was enjoying a nice sunbath, but suddenly his tail felt painful, and his most beautiful and largest tail feathers were gone. I don't know which damn thief stole things from it. The Phoenix King looked in the mirror and saw his bald tail. It was so ugly that it made him cry. As a bird that loves beauty, Ho-Oh's mentality collapsed. The Phoenix King acted decisively and sealed the palace with sacred fire, refusing to go out until his tail grew back. It must not become the second laughingstock in the mythical beast circle. As soon as the door was closed, Lugia came looking for it. The Phoenix King patted his chest with his wings thankfully. Fortunately he closed it in time. Lugia, I've been feeling something recently, and I'm going to retreat to break through. I'll come find you when I come out. Ho-Oh sent Lugia away and started staying at home. Okay, then I'll wait for you at home. Lugia was quite disappointed, and he also wanted to let Ho-Oh see my newly grown tail feathers, which were more beautiful than before. Rayquaza, come and wear this. Luo Sha put the feather of life on Rayquaza's forehead, and the feather slowly turned into red light and merged into Rayquaza's body. After touching Rayquaza with satisfaction, Luo Sha rode the dragon to carry Shira, Sasori, Maki, Ishimaru and Fu back home, including Nagato and the other two. The 8 little kids sat in a row and shared the fruit Sidic mixed in there. Sitting obediently on the far left, Luo Sha distributed the elf eggs one by one with a smile on his face. Ishimaru and Fu received 2 Pokemon eggs, and their cheeks turned red with excitement. In comparison, Scorpion, who also received 2 elf eggs, seemed relatively calm, but his eyes were flashing with excitement that he could not conceal. Quack. What about mine? Luo Sha took out a moo-moo milk, inserted a straw, and put it on the duck's paw. When Sidic saw the moo-moo milk, his eyes lit up instantly. He smiled with crescent eyes. The 3 silly hairs on his head stood up, and he drank the milk contentedly. 5 minutes later, 11 white lights flashed in the room, and 11 elf babies were born one after another. After everyone put their Pokemon into the Pokeball, Luo Sha began to give his younger brothers an introductory lesson. Luo Sha's class has started. Teacher Luo Sha began to talk about the will of the wind, and he is determined to train his younger brothers to become 5 good young people. Luo seemed to be listening to a mysterious book. Her eyelids drooped and she might fall asleep in the next second. This shows a lack of loyalty to the village. Luo Sha decides to add more burden to Luo and let Luo recite the entire will of wind. Hiko performed the best. He looked excited as he listened and kept nodding his head in agreement with Rasa. Rasa decided that he must cultivate Hiko in the future. Hiko is a copy of Uzumaki Naruto and is a master of mouth-to-mouth. It would be absolutely appropriate to let Hiko go on a mission. Oh, no, it's the great disseminator of the will of the wind. Scorpion is already a senior believer of the will of wind. He listens to Luo Sha's lectures with a pious look on his face and assists Luo Sha as the class monitor. The other younger brothers behaved well, and Luo Sha firmly believed that long-term teaching would always be effective. There is another student who loves to skip classes, Sidic. However, Sidic is the silly boy of teacher Luo Sha, and Luo Sha has an absolute preference for Sidic and lets it go its own way. The days passed one by one, and a week later, after the 5-cage meeting, Shagu returned to the Sand Village. Luo, who finally didn't have to be forced to recite lessons, was so excited that she burst into tears and began to spend the whole day in the training ground practicing. Master, do you want a child? Rasa brought Nagato, Hiko and Konan and pushed open the door of the Kazekage's office. The 3 little ones stood behind Luo Sha stiffly, poked their heads to look towards Fengying's office, and saw Shagu sitting upright in a chair. Is this the father that Luo Sha brother found for them? Looking at the handsome middle-aged uncle in front of them, the 3 kids felt more sensitive. However, Shagu's reaction was a little strange, and he looked at Luo Sha with panic. Master, what's with that expression on your face? What happened? Luo Sha looked at Shagu strangely, feeling that something was wrong. Luo Sha, Master is busy right now. You should go back first. We can talk about anything in the evening. Luo, Detective, Conan, Sherlock Holmes, Sand stared at Shagu suspiciously, trying to see something from Shagu's expression. Chapter 50, Shaguan's hang is not safe? There's something wrong with 1,000 of them. Are you hiding something from me? Luo Sha approached Shagu, and Shagu's face could no longer hold back. He showed a panic expression, and there was a big danger on his head. Luo Sha, don't come over. Shagu's eyes were rolling around, and he looked very guilty and nervous. Luo Sha finally realized what was wrong. When he came to Feng Ying's office today, Shagu did not bury his head in processing documents as usual. The sitting posture is wrong, like, at this moment, seeing Shagu's embarrassed expression, Nami poked her head out from under the table with a blushing face, pulled the corners of her mouth towards Luo Sha, revealing a smile that was uglier than crying. Luo Sha looked at Shagu in shock. He didn't expect it. Master, you are such a person. The three little ones, wow, what a big melon. The three little ones were all shocked as well. Could it be that they would have a new mother just after finding their new father? Nami was so ashamed to be exposed in front of her 4 children that she wanted to find a hole to hide in. Luo Sha was her future stepson, and the other 3 were also her future children. Nami was caught by the child before she even got married. No matter how thick-skinned she was, she could not stay there any longer. She put on her coat and ran away barefoot. Nami ran away, but Shagu couldn't. Shagu, my life is over. Shagu sat on the chair, looking disheveled, and felt that his reputation was in tatters. Tell the truth, confess and be lenient, resist and be severe. Luo Sha sat directly opposite Shagu with a serious face. The 3 little ones hid outside the door, pricked up their ears with curiosity and eavesdropped. Luo Sha, master is 42 years old now. He has been single for a long time, so it is inevitable that he has some needs in that aspect. Nami has been pursuing me. I agreed without thinking. How long have you been together? Almost a month. What are you going to do with Aunt Nami? Well, what do you think about this? Shagu looked at Luo Sha cautiously. He naturally planned to marry Nami, and he finally felt moved again. Love is like a tornado, it comes unexpectedly. Of course I have no problem. Aunt Nami is so beautiful and so strong. The Sand Village can't find a female ninja more suitable than her. How long have you been like this? What? Shagu asked confusedly. That's it for today. Luo Sha showed a look of enjoying himself. Well, the Spirit Club is not very busy, so I thought of giving Nami more responsibilities and letting her be the secretary of the Kazekage, and then we accidentally developed feelings for each other. Shagu hurriedly picked up the teacup and took a sip to hide the expression on his face. Oh, office play? Master, do you like this? Where did you learn all this? Shagu looked up at Luo Sha, his forehead full of black lines, and his tone was quite stern. Which bastard taught his son such bad things? He is only 10 years old. Well, I like reading books, and I accidentally saw it in a book. Faced with Shagu's increasingly serious expression, Luo Sha's voice became lower and lower. Master, what was the result of the 5-Kage summit? Luo Sha abruptly changed the subject, fearing that he might lose his life if he continued talking. What else can we do? Konoha still has enough strength to fight again. Kirigakure and Kumagakure don't want to be taken advantage of by us. Iwagakure is determined to withdraw from the war. Our best option is to negotiate with Konoha. We signed a ceasefire agreement with Konoha. Konoha gave us its share of the river country's missions. This was Konoha's disguised admission of defeat. Shagu's face was full of pride, as if he was pointing out ideas for the world and making bold decisions. It is true that the 4 major ninja villages all want to bring down Konoha, but they absolutely do not want to see the birth of a second Konoha. The fact that Sand Village wiped out tens of thousands of Konoha and Iwagakure ninjas in one fell swoop was enough to frighten all the major ninja villages. If the Sand Village is allowed to invade the land of the Fire Country again, the Sand Village may become more terrifying than Konoha in the future. Kirigakure and Kumagakure had stopped attacking Konoha because of this concern, so that Konoha could focus on containing Sandagakure, and it would be best if both sides could suffer losses. If Sand Village wants to fight, they will face the complete form of Konoha. The 3 ninjas of Konoha, Danzo, Hatake Tsukumo, Uzumaki Mido, Sarutobi Hirozen, 7-Kage level strongmen. The foundation of Tsunagakure is too poor. After more than 3 years of rapid development, its overall strength is still not as good as Konoha. The real Kage level strongmen in Tsunagakure include Seigo, Chiyo, and Bunfuku, as well as the 2 Pokémon Steelix and Slowking. Rasa, Xiao Ai, Rayquaza and others are all able to briefly reach the level of cage combat power, but they are bound to be defeated in a battle against a cage-level powerhouse. Those above the level of cage in Sand Village are not as good as those above the level of cage, and those below the level of cage are even worse than those below the level of cage. In addition, the other three ninja villages are eyeing them covetously, especially Iwagakure and Sunagakure, which have just formed a big feud and will definitely add insult to injury for Sunagakure. Therefore, at the 5-Kage Summit, Sand Village agreed to peace talks. But Konoha did not admit defeat. Konoha still had more than 30,000 active ninjas, and Sand Village's share of the river country's missions were the result of more than 10 days of negotiations. However, although Sunagakure and Konoha had peace talks, the war was not over. As neighbors, Iwagakure and Kumagakure have long been at loggerheads with each other, vying for the second-in-command position and disliking each other. The second Tsuchikage and the second Mizukage had a deep hatred for each other, and died in battle, one for the other, which led to hatred between Iwagakure and Kirigakure. Now that Iwagakure has reached its weakest moment in history, Kirigakure and Kumagakure are ready to make a move and want to bite off a piece of fat from Iwagakure. How could Inoki not know Iwagakure's current situation? At the 5-Kage Summit, Iwagakure and Konoha promised not to attack each other, and the two sides formed a wartime alliance. The reason why Inoki chose Konoha was because Konoha and Iwagakure had common interests, and both ninja villages were facing pressure from Kirigakure and Kumagakure. Sarutobi Hiruzen agreed to Inoki's short-term alliance, and Konoha gained an ally without paying anything. If Iwagakure joined the war, Konoha's pressure would be greatly reduced. If Iwagakure did not join the war, Konoha would not lose anything. This 5-Kage Summit made the 3rd Raikage and the 3rd Mizukage furious. After fighting for nearly a year, they gained nothing, and now there is no hope of defeating Konoha. They originally wanted Konoha and Sunagakure to both suffer losses, but the result was that Sunagakure and Konoha ceased fighting, and Iwagakure and Konoha formed an alliance. It's not bad to get the river country's share of missions. The elves right now are not suitable to enter a big country, as that would aid the enemy. We have already expanded the elf industry to the bird country and the bear country, so let's choose the river country as the 3rd country. Luo Sha quickly figured out everything. Gaining market share in the river country meant that Sunagakure could openly interfere in the affairs of the river country. Master, the river kingdom is now under our control. Can we dig a canal to guide seawater into the wind kingdom and let the gurgling streams moisten the dry land of the wind kingdom? Indeed, I will make a plan in a few days to divert the canal directly to Hulan City and call it the Hulan Canal. Shagu agreed to Rose's proposal. In fact, Shagu had considered the canal issue at the 5-Kage Summit, so he strongly demanded that Konoha give up its share of the river country's mission. We didn't have the ability to dig canals in the past, but now with Pokémon like Raiden and Steelix, digging canals has become a very simple task. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.